Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome along, welcome. My name is Ben Somerville. I'm talking to you from Tsujigiricollective. You are tuning in for our Friday night competition. Thank you for coming and joining in. I say Friday night out here in New Zealand. It is a lovely sunny Saturday morning, but that's irrelevant to you. It does not matter in the slightest. You are here to watch some Friday night drifting. Welcome along, Tropical Pigeon. Thank you for your third month of subscription. It is lovely to have you still with us. Worlds, good morning. Granberg, he's on as well, and Snox CS. Welcome along, guys. Thank you very much. This week we have a great top 32 competition for you. We have a returning, defending champion from last week in Craig Fulgham. He's joining us again in order to compete this week, and that's great. We don't often have our returning champions come back. They've all been tied up in other events like VDC and various other things, but the season is over, so if you want drifting, you're stuck with us and this, whatever this is. So, welcome along. Where are we this week? Well, that's a great question. We've got a great lineup. It's a great classic track. I've said great too many times. That's a great shame. It's a classic track. It's one of the most legendary tracks in drifting. This week, we are using the House of Drift itself, Irwindale Speedway. The Formula D layout, not last year's layout. We're saving that for a special event. But the 2019 and before layout that finishes on the left-hand section. The way this is going to look over the course of today, it is our usual setup. We are running the full top 32 competition with a randomly drawn start order. We get the list of all of our people that have entered, we put them into random.org, and we shuffle them up, switch them around, and then we put them into the normal style battle tree to get the competition format for the rest of the day. Now, we do know that some of you have come to join us here who are not terribly familiar with drifting in general. So before we get started with anything else, first of all, let me say thank you to our sponsors. That is Eclipse Motorsport, Chris Ennis, who is this week one of our judges as well. That is Graham's Performance, Injectors and Throttle Bodies. That is Enamed, Maltese Fuel, providing the best fuel in Malta and the Mediterranean. That is Retro Speed Shop, Ian at Retro Speed Shop. Thank you very much for your continued support, and also to all of you guys out there who are our Patreons. We couldn't do this without you, so thank you very much for coming along. But let's get into it. This week we are talking about our battle tree, and it looks like this format. We have our tandem battles. Now, because we don't have a qualifying format, you don't really need to know about that. But what we have here, our tandem battles, the drivers compete in elimination head-to-head battles. Each battle consists of 2 runs. A full battle is 2 runs. During those 2 runs, each driver will lead and each driver will chase once per battle. The judges choose a winner based on the combination of both of the runs, or can opt to have the battle again, and that is a one more time. Our judges this evening: Chris Ennis, I've already mentioned, Chris Viltovsky, the head judge of the Virtual Drift Championship and the man responsible for putting so many walls into virtual drifting. And I will also be judging this evening. We'd been hoping that Caleb Dauphin was going to be coming back to join us again tonight, but he's not had the best week for reasons I won't go into. But those are our 3 judges, me and 2 men named Chris. So that should be good. That's how the battles work. This is what we are looking for. In our battles, we want the lead driver to run as close as possible to a perfect line as per the driver briefing and track map, which you will all get to enjoy in a minute. They must ensure that the run is easy to chase, and it must conform to the throttle map as per the briefing. That is a crucial one in the middle. They must ensure that the run is easy to chase. You guys will see as things progress over the course of the evening that we will often be picking people up on their runs not being easy to chase. What do we want from the chase driver? Well, that's pretty simple too. They must initiate no later than the final countdown cone, so they cannot wait too long to initiate. They must maintain the closest possible proximity to the lead car without compromising the lead car's line, and they must match or better the lead car's angle. Now that means that we want them to get close first and foremost, and after they've got close we want them to angle up and stay as close as possible while matching and mirroring the car in the lead position. That is what we are looking for here. Now, before we move on further into the track map, I'm going to drop down into the voice chat and I'm going to give the guys their briefing. So be prepared, there might be some swearing. We're going to tune in with all of the drivers. Gentlemen, hello everybody. Oh. Chris, are you doing a briefing, Chris? Okay, I'm going to recap so you can listen whilst I provide it for those who are watching on stream. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're all well. For those of you who are watching on stream, the track map looks like this. We are at Irwindale, and it is one of Chris Viltovsky's least liked tracks, so you will hear him extol its many, many virtues as time goes on. It is a right-hand lane leads start through the start chicane. Remember, folks, it is not a drag race to get through the start chicane. We want you making sure that you get through there cleanly. The whole point of it is to keep the chase driver close by. A full throttle acceleration along the top straight to start the initiation into the left hand side. On the ground you have two lines, yellow lines demarking the no crossing point. The lead driver cannot drop below those lines in order to flick their entry, but we expect the lead driver to enter in a way that is chaseable and aggressive, preferably a flick, but you must not cross the lines. Chase drivers cannot get in the way of the lead driver during that flick. As you go into that initiation, there is a slight decel zone. The purpose of that is to get the car settled and to get up onto the wall appropriately. Expect the lead car to slow slightly. They have every right to do so. We will determine if there is overslowing, excessive deceleration, and that will be penalised accordingly. But as long as there is not excessive deceleration, the chase car will be at fault at contact at the start of clip 1. Clip 1 runs all the way round turn 1, that long sweeping left-hander. We expect the lead car to be right up on the wall, tucked up as tight as possible. Chase car, you can drop slightly infield in order to maintain proximity. You'll be marked down if it is excessive. And the yellow line that is in the middle of the track all the way around that section is considered off track if you drop below it. So 1 wheel down, minor penalty, 2 wheels down into the infield, that's a larger penalty, and 3 wheels is an automatic 0. At the end of clip 1 is a fast transition through the power alley onto the inside clip there, and that is there so that you can make sure that you get as close in onto that inside edge with the lead car. But remember, you must not get over into the cone. The lead car must not hit the cone. The lead car must not drop wheels on the inside edge. The chase car can drop 1 wheel there to maintain proximity. Then on the transition, you go into another decel. The decel does not start until you are facing the correct way. So it is after the second transition in the power alley. That is where the decel zone starts if you need it. And it runs to the start of the clip at the beginning of the wall for the outside of zone 3, which is turn 2. And that left-hander on the wall runs all the way round until the end of the yellow line. You're meant to stay outside the yellow line on that turn and then cut into an inside clip at 4 on the power, smoothly across to the wall at 5. The normal inside clip-in rules apply. Hit the wall at 5 and cross the line, then drive back round to the start. And guys, do not reset to pits unless you've had a major wreck and are trying to get out of the way so that the other guy doesn't get whiplash by his wheels spinning round as he hits you. You are expected to do 2 runs, both sides of the battle on 1 set of tyres, and then we will call a 1 more time or a victory as required. It is normal Formula D Irwindale. This shouldn't need much briefing. Does anyone have any questions? Wow. Yes. Everyone involved in drifting should know the Formula D layout at Irwindale by now. I'm going to leave you guys here with Chris to psychologically molest you so that you are suitably haggard and ready to go for this evening's round. We will talk to you in a minute. If we've got everyone here and everyone is ready and we are not doing an excessively long briefing, then I think what we'll do is we'll try and get started at 20 past. So you have 7 minutes of practice remaining and then we will get going. Have a good event. Oh, go on. I'm doing fine. Thanks very much for asking, Josh. Are you propositioning me or are you just trying to have a lovely conversation? Okay, we'll have a lovely conversation later. Don't mess up. Have a good race. So, that is the layout at Irwindale. I think everyone's pretty happy with that. Most of you who are watching should be fairly familiar with Irwindale by now. Yeah, it's not a complex track. It is a fun track. It's fast. It's up on the wall. It's banked. It's chaotic. We've had a load of last minute changes on people wanting to switch out to different tyres. We've had loads of people wanting to switch out to, not to different tyres, sorry, to different cars. We've had loads of people wanting to just pull out. We've lost something like 6 drivers over the course of this thing so far. Let's show you what the on-track practice is looking like at the moment while we give these guys a final chance to get themselves sorted. That is how it looks there. This is the layout at Irwindale. Just from that briefing that we were talking about just then, you can see the kind of way that the track flows. This is them coming in from that infield section. Ian Wilson, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome along. And that's them coming across the line on that final section. You can see in the background, these guys are trying to get as much practice in as possible. All coming firing out. And one of the fun things for Irwindale, Andres Benyo, welcome along. Thank you very much for the follow. One of the things that you must remember when watching all of this is that it is Irwindale. Irwindale is normally a night round, or at least an evening into night round. We will be trying to replicate that. Sam Sorensen, welcome along. Thank you for the follow. We will be trying to replicate that night event over the course of tonight's battles. It will slowly shift into nighttime for these guys. Hooligan Monkey Chris, thank you for the follow. If anyone's wondering why we're suddenly picking up a load of followers, I would expect it's because James Dean, the legendary machine James Dean, finally did a review on his 14.5 that we built. A Drift Spade 52, thank you for the follow, welcome along. And he seemed pretty contented with it. He's off to Russia now to compete out in RDS. And he has apparently for the last few weeks been using the S14.5, or as he called it, the S14.9 that we built and released as the promo for our Pro Pack. And he released his video today showing him driving that car in game, and we're really thrilled that that has come out so well and that's been so well received. So James, great of you to mention us. Thank you very much. Good luck in Russia. Have a fantastic time. We're all rooting for you to go out there and do the business. We want to see yet another bit of silverware on the shelf for James Dean. Wish him all the luck in the world with that fantastic machine, that incredible S14. So I'm going to drop us down into the judging channel. All of those of you who are here, thank you very much for sticking with us. We're going to head down into the judging channel now and we'll have a listen to what they're saying there. Who is in here still? It's Christopher Ennis. Hello, Christopher Ennis. Say hello to the folks at home. Or don't. That's fine too. Has your controller disconnected, Chris? Well, I love it when I'm just sat by myself. That's good. Billy No Mates in the corner over here. One thing that is exciting, Craig Fulgham is back to defend his crown. You can see him on the outside. He's getting in his first practice laps. He wasn't sure where he was going to be able to make it, but he has managed to make it this week. So in that yellow car, the Stefan Stefanov replica RPS 13 with the 2J under the bonnet, that is Craig Fulgham giving it the business going through the bank section there during this practice section. He is firing through already and he is looking really dialed in that car. So he is definitely one to watch through the course of the night. And as I say that, he absolutely spanks it into a wall at the end of the track. Now, it looks like Anders is starting to clear the decks, and Anders Unger, once again, the start line marshal and general driver wrangler for us here this week. As I've said to Anders many, many times, we simply could not make this event run without him, and we appreciate him hugely. Anyway, Let's get this going. These guys are getting ready. Let's show you what the battle tree looks like tonight. These are the guys who are going to be battling out for our tiny little pixel art crown this evening. Starting from the top and working our way down on the left-hand side of your battle tree, you have Sean Hogan versus Luis Fejka, Bartek Kukovski versus Tomislav Klizanic, Zura Dizamidze versus Jamie Healy, Martinez Ostraka versus Paddy Walls, Warren Greener versus Abdullah Abu Hussein, Josh Hartshorn versus Johan Garcia. That's Joshua William Hartshorn, as we took to saying about him last week, and Chris will undoubtedly be saying his full name again to wind him up this week. Vlad Zazulia versus Ilya Tsikluri, Octavian Chilarou versus Sandro Shanturia. Now that's the left-hand side of the bracket. That's our first 16 drivers. On the other side, Wojciech Wawrika versus Chris Lykup, Primus Levante versus Ryan Sider, Shea McCullough versus Cormac Gard. That's going to be a hell of a battle. Those guys drive together a lot. Josh Oxley versus Misho Tukarids, Alexander Jaeger versus Carter Cavalli, Ian Koenig versus Daryl Diaz, Steve Smith versus Juventli Maurizia, and Craig Fulgham versus Lewis Monks at the end of the tree there. That is how things have shaken up for tonight. Yop777, thank you for the follow. And already I can hear Anders huffing in the background. Anders, tell me a thing. What is going on?
I just heard in the other chat that Tomislav isn't gonna make it.
Okay.
He told Josh like 12 hours ago. I'm not sure if you've gotten a message about or not.
I might do. Everything's been chaos trying to get the event organised. So
yeah.
Look, Tomislav. Okay, that's fine. So if Tomislav isn't making it, we will delay that battle. It's what, the second battle? So once we get to what should be the start of that battle, we'll start a 5-minute rule for the next available reserve driver, who should be Carter's in, Johan's in, Nathaniel Lamping. I don't think he's replied. And Adam Lake. Let's get those guys keyed up.
Okay, just whenever you decide on one of them, just send me the name.
I will do.
Okay, just send it to the other account. I'll start going.
Okay, let's start getting everything sorted. Yep, brilliant. Thank you very much, Anders.
Cheers.
Augusto Ferreira would be the third reserve. Let's talk about this then. So, Anders is about to get them under starters orders. Anders is our start line marshal. Top 20. He's just told us, for those of you who didn't hear that Tomislav Klizanic, I do seem to recall a message. We've just been inundated with the number of guys pulling out, so I probably missed one. It's probably my fault. He was meant to take on Bartek Kukovski, and instead is not here. He's not going to be available. So we have a list of reserve drivers as we lock the list down on the top 32, and we have a list of reserve drivers who are then available to slot in when we don't have a show for the top 32, because we want to show you guys a battle. We want to show you something that's actually going on. We do not want to show you a buy run, because buy runs are boring. And buy runs all too often are just a tedious, terrible thing.
Unless buy run wins.
Unless buy run wins. Yeah, that's absolutely right, Chris. Hello, welcome back. You weren't here a minute ago. You all right?
Yes, I was just putting my tea on the plate.
What's for tea this evening, Chris?
Curry.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Is it a home cooked curry or?
I doubt it. No, it's definitely come from a packet for Chris.
No, I mean I can cook curry, but it doesn't work out much more expensive to get someone else to cook it for you and deliver it.
No, that's true. That is actually a fair point.
No, it's not.
It doesn't.
Well, I suppose if you're cooking a curry for yourself and not for anyone else, okay. But the second you add like a second person in, way cheaper to cook it yourself. Way cheaper.
I don't know if I agree with that. I actually think I agree with Chris Ennis. Certainly out here in New Zealand, it's cheaper I can't believe we're discussing curry on the stream, but it's certainly cheaper to get someone to make a curry than it is to make it yourself out here.
Oh no, in the UK, like fucking.
Nah, yeah, nah.
No.
You sounded almost Kiwi there, Chris.
I know.
Nah, yeah, nah. Nah, yeah, nah. It's cheaper to cook it yourself.
In the UK, you pay at least like 15 quid to get a curry delivered, like that's got anything other than just literally just a curry on its own.
You're forgetting I'm not down south.
Oh yeah,
that is a very valid point.
That does help.
That does make a difference.
I think
because around here I will literally pay like a tenner for like a main, and then it'll be like 3 quid for the rice, and then a couple of quid for a naan. So like literally you'll spend 15-20 quid just on a curry for yourself. It's way cheaper to cook it
Mine's the most expensive one at £7.95 with rice, and the naan bread was 2 quid.
£7.95 with rice. That does seem like good value, if I'm honest.
That is pretty good value.
Right, and let's get back to drifting, because this is a ridiculous conversation for us to be having on the stream. The guys are getting up. I've sent Anders the instruction to line them up. We know that Tomislav is not going to be here for whatever reason. I hope it's...
Bye run.
We're not having a bye run, Chris. We're not doing it. Not unless we absolutely have
You'll
to.
have to go against him, Chris.
I'll just do it on keyboard then. And
yeah,
like,
just smash it into the wall. I know what Chris will do.
So the saga continues.
The saga continues. Tell me, Anders. Tell me what new, fresh horror I need to put up with.
Lewis isn't here in the first battle.
Bye run. But
Like I wish I was joking, but he's not around apparently.
oh well, that's fine. It just means that you can just give both of them just a place on the naughty step.
My wheel is set up. I am willing to smash someone into the wall.
No, we have actually got a list of guys who are on the reserve ready to go, but we need to actually have some of them turn up. This is the problem, is anyone that's on the reserve list that then also isn't available needs to go onto the list of people who are not welcome back for a week. You get a week's punishment. Nico, still here. Drift, thank you very much for the follow. We want to get going soon as possible. So... what we'll do, Anders, if we got people ready, we'll watch this final practice run because it gives me a chance to work out exactly how long the replay cam needs to be, and then we will move on and we will start the timer for those guys there. Brandon Hogarth has messaged me and said, do I need to turn on the PC if none of the actual drivers are here? Maybe, Brandon. Maybe you should. Maybe you should be keying yourself up and getting ready to go.
Yeah, so I'm guessing we'll just start with the third and fourth battle first.
We'll start with the third and fourth battles,
Yeah, whatever.
which is...
Just 10 battles. Let's just do something.
Yeah. I'll do that then.
Ooh. Yoshihara has just released his 2021 livery.
Excellent. We'll talk about that in a bit because I'm definitely interested. Well, that means that Alf, I'm going to drop out of this chat while I'm doing the speaking part so that you guys don't need to listen to me. So I will go into here for a second and I will switch backwards and forwards. Those guys are getting everything ready. This means that for your first battle this evening, tonight, we don't at all have Sean Hogan versus Luis Feischke. We have Zura Diasimidze, I'm so sorry if I've butchered that, Diasimidze versus Jamie Healy. Jamie Healy is going to be our first battle lineup. Normally he's in his S15. He's taken to using the 13.5 for this battle instead. It looks like we're pretty much ready to go. Anders is getting everything underway there. So let's get ourselves lined up and get ourselves sorted. Hope you're looking forward to this evening. Adam Lake is going to be one of the drivers. Adam Lake, congratulations. You will be first battle. And the next person up will be Augusto Ferreira. He's saying he's not got the cars. These guys are just not organised this week. Never mind. It is what it is. We'll just get it going. If we have to have a buy run, we have to have a buy run. We are starting that timer now. It looks like we are ready on the line. Let's get this show underway. I am going to put them under starters orders. I'm letting Anders know right now that we are ready to go. We've got so many different lines of communication. Here we are. This is Zura Diamidze versus Jamie Healy. Zura is leading. Jamie's in the chase position in that 13.5. Zura leading in the PS13 with the V8 under the bonnet going firing in. That's that initiation that we've been expecting from the guys, that fast fling. And look at Jamie Healy reeling him in as Zura ends up slightly down the bank through that first corner. That car is not hooked up at all as they come through into this section. So much so that Jamie ends up blocking him in the initiation, through the transition into that infield section. They're going to run it out, but let's see what happened there. We're going to go back and watch that replay again. That is not going to please Christopher at all. Talking to Christopher, let's drop down into the chat and have a word. Well, that was a way to start, wasn't it?
Well, it's a good job I noticed that was actually in the first battle.
Young FB, thank you for the follow. Welcome along. So, I'm going to want to watch that again. Let's go back.
I mean, Jamie hits him through the transition that causes that probably realistically is what causes him to spin out. So, really, Jamie.
It's a question though of whether that was excessive slowing on the transition for me, because that is quite a lot of speed he takes off. Oh no, it is just Jamie punting him. I take it back. That's just Jamie going full hand.
He doesn't slow too badly. Jamie just goes way too aggressive in the transition.
Yes, he does.
Like, you've got to give space there. Like it's a full throttle transition, but it's a relative term.
You have to lift to transition.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Right, they are underway on the second run. They're going for the initiation. Jamie Healy in the lead position. Zura is closing up onto his door. Is Jamie going to be able to overturn that zero? Zura taking out a lot of the angle in order to make sure that he maintains that proximity as they come through into that transition. A much cleaner battle so far. Let's see if these guys can round it off to the end. Zura cutting the track hard to maintain proximity, but as long as nothing happens here, it's probably all over from that mistake in run one. Let's have a look at that replay.
Doesn't do anything in the chase to incomplete himself, so Zura's still going to win.
Zura for me.
Zura for me as well.
Next battle.
So, as we move back off from that, you can just see them rounding off that section. Arcturus, FPS, I should have been warming up. I didn't expect to get picked up from the reserve. Well, this is the thing. If you're on the reserve list, then there is always that chance that you're going to get picked. So you've got to be ready. Zura Diamidze, congratulations. It is his first event with us, and it is his first win. He makes it through into the top 16. Now, Louis Facia has not turned up this evening, so he is being replaced by Adam. That's Adam Lake, I believe. Let's get
we
him.
now have Paddy Walls and Martinez on track.
Martinez on track
leading?
as well.
Let's find out. Martinez is leading.
Chris, your enthusiasm grows with every passing second. Have you suddenly come round to Irwindale?
No.
No, I didn't think so.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Did that sound optimistic or like positive?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Well, you were just flirting with the line between sounding genuinely positive and it being sarcasm. So it was one of those times when I thought I'd best check, but I should really have known.
Why? Because it's me and I am.
Yeah, exactly that. So, Martinez Ostraka is here to lead in Paddy Walls. That is our next battle. Martinez Ostraka in the Mustang, at 900 horsepower Mustang versus Paddy Walls, another Irishman using an S13.5. This one, the RB28 under the bonnet. That is another 800 to 900 horsepower car. There's about 1700 horsepower on the grid right now.
Actually, 803 wheel horsepower.
803 wheel. There we go. Chris likes to bring the precise numbers. Thank you, Chris. We couldn't get that level of precision and pedantry without you. As Paddy Walls sends it right up into the pocket of Martinez Ostraka, but then has to back right out there, coming down into the transition. Is he going to be able to reel him back in? Martinez on an actually really nice lead line down that corner, and Paddy slots in onto them on the outside zone at clip 3. This tuck in onto 4. Is Paddy going to be able to maintain the proximity as that big old Mustang gets absolutely hooked up and across the line? Let's see that
Very
one more time.
strong 6.4 or a weak 7.3 to lead for me.
I think I agree. Sharon K. McFall, thank you for the follow. Welcome along. Chris Ennis, your thoughts?
Yes.
Yes.
Chase was very stabby.
Very stabby. Yeah, it was quite stabby.
Halfway around turn 1, that he just makes a huge unforced error in chase because he got himself in the wrong position, then had to make a big dive through the transition, and even then only semi got back into it and then lost him as he came down through the inside again.
That is how it looked to me as well. It was definitely looking like it was errors from the chase position. I've put them under starters orders, and as Unger has them in control, this is now Paddy Walls to lead in. Martinez Ostraker in the chase position. Tilka, thank you for the follow, and Martosis, thank you also for the follow, as Paddy Walls sends it in, and that's an enormous contact. That's an absolutely massive contact coming into the first corner. We're going to definitely have to see that again. Let's go back and have a look.
From what I saw, the lead car parked it on the first corner.
It looked like he went to enter and then decided that, nah, it's optional.
Hello, Dion. Dion wants to say hello to Chris. Hello, Chris, from Dion. Right, let's see this again.
If he really wanted to say hello, he could come and judge, couldn't he?
Yeah, come and judge, Dion. Come and help us out. Here we go. Let's watch this. This is the initiation.
That is so slow.
Oh, Paddy absolutely drags that right almost to a standstill there.
Nah, that's just excessive in the lead. There's no need to... In fact, losing that much speed off the entry, he would have struggled like hell to even get around the bank in any sort of reasonable condition. For me, that's lead error.
In that case, I must ask the question.
Martinez.
Chris Ennis says Martinez Ostraker. Chris Viltovsky.
Yeah, he gets the win.
Martinez Ostraker, that is unanimous. I can't see anything wrong with that. Martinez Ostraker advances through to the top 16. Right, now we should have Sean Hogan versus Adam Lake. That's what we're meant to be having here. And then it was meant to be Augusto Ferrerio as another stand-in. So we're going to have to go further down the list. Brandon Gardner, are you there? No, you're offline as well. Hag's offline as well. Let's see what happens. Brandon Hogarth is our stand-in for that, unless these guys are online. So, Brandon Gardner.
All right.
Let's get these guys lined up. So we are going back to what should have been our first battle. With Sean Hogan to take on Louis Faceker, but Louis Faceker hasn't turned up. So Sean Hogan will be taking on Adam Lake. That's our starting point for this. If they're not ready, then we will be moving on to the bottom half of the battle. It looks like we do have someone who might be free. I love it when things like this happen. I love it when we look super professional on the stream. This is all good.
Well, we've got Sean Hogan and some other dude on the line.
Yes,
and Adam Lake on the line. So, send them. Them, yeah.
Send them. Sean Hogan is going to be leading in Adam Lake. This is the battle that we have in front of us. This should have been the first battle. They are ready to go.
Ooh, I just remembered I bought donuts from Morrison's.
Ooh, custard.
Nah, they only had the raspberry and the strawberry ones left. Unfortunately, they didn't have any of the lemon ones are my favourite.
Oh, that was a very slow run-in from Sean Hogan in the lead position while we're talking about donuts. These guys are doing donuts on track, and Sean Hogan's already gone into the wall. Sean Hogan has gone into the wall. That is not going to be what we wanted to see straight away there. Let's go back and watch that on the replay cam. That is not what we wanted to see. After all of that waiting, we want to get going, and yet we have that kind of accident. Dion is saying he'd be willing to come and judge. Let's watch this crash while we were talking about donuts as Sean Hogan gets up onto the wall, starts to ride that nicely, and then lifts out and just makes contact with the wall a third of the way round, or 2/3 of the way round, and ends up a broken wreck over in the corner. Dion, let's get you in doing some judging with these guys. As they come back round to the start, we're going to have the second half of this battle. This is now Adam Lake to lead in. Sean Hogan.
Join like the Fall Guys channel in the Discord. I'll drag you in.
Yeah, Dion, join the Fall Guys channel there, and we'll drag you down. Wow, this is all very, very stressful. We do have a driver coming in to take the second battle. That's going to be Macaulay Smith. In the meantime, let's get the second half of this tragedy underway. Ooh.
Admittedly, this is assuming that Dion is even in the Chuffin Discord.
So, here we go. Sean Hogan now in the chase position. Sean Hogan chasing down Adam Lake. Adam Lake in that Mustang getting absolutely fired off the line there. He's going to know that he just needs to complete a run to get round. It's not the tidiest of runs so far. Quite scrappy through that section, but now he's hooked up, coming down into the infield. Look at the gap he's opening up on Sean Hogan as he comes firing round. Nice transition out onto the wall there, and then firing things through. Getting back on power, down into the infield section. Now on and across the finish line. That is a full pull. That's what we wanted to see. Let's have a look at it on the replay cam. I can hear Chris Ennis enjoying his curry in the background. Let's have this. Yes, Dion, right now. Nice transition there, round onto the wall and back through this on section 2 of the track. That third clip. Down onto that infield section and across the line. That's what we were looking for. We've got a full pull. Gentlemen, do you have a verdict?
Yeah, there wasn't anything on that second run to overturning complete.
Yes.
Chris Ennis says yes. Tonight on the Tsujigiri Scream, Chris Viltovsky insults a man. Christopher Ennis says yes. Right, so in that case, we can now announce with that unanimous Sean Hogan's mistake in the first run means that Adam Lake advances through into the top 16. Now, who will he be facing? This is a more complex question because now we have to look and see who I have up next. So we should have Bartek Kakowski, and he is meant to be facing Tomislav Klizanic, but he is now going to be facing Macaulay Smith. Macaulay Smith has done absolutely no practice. He has barely set the rig up. He's signed up without doing any of the prerequisite work. He is going to be doing the next run there. And then we should be able to move on into the next few guys.
Oh, Dion is now claiming that he didn't think we meant right now. He's literally lying in bed. I'm very tempted to just throw a slew of insults back his way.
Jamie Healy is claiming that we should re-examine our decision from that first battle, saying that it's a lag bump.
Yeah, but that's still his fault then, isn't it?
No, on the footage that he's got, he thinks that it is Zura's fault.
Unfortunately, that's the problems with the judge sport.
Chris Viltovsky going back to have a look at that battle again. Well, we get these guys up to the line. So in this one, it is Bartek Kakowski to lead in Macaulay Smith. Macaulay Smith only just joining. Bartek Kakowski, he's already getting ready to go round to the line. We're going to be moving on to this battle in a second.
He's got him parked in one of the tents on the grid.
Which is a pretty serious skill.
So from the stream perspective, there's no lag from Zura. It's, if anything, it looks like who was chasing?
Jamie Healy.
Jamie. From stream, if anything, it looks more like Jamie lags.
Yeah. I mean, on the stream, to me, it looked like Zura was absolutely rock solid and then made it straight through. and Jamie just
so-
gained a load of
so-
speed. So either Jamie gripped it up and sent it forwards and flying into the
I'd
door.
say it
or
looked more
there
like
was
Jamie lagged. Like from the stream perspective, it looks like Jamie lags, which means Jamie is then at fault. So the other thing I will say, just to put this one to bed, is that as I'm here, as with every competition that I'm involved with, whether that is VDC or Drift Masters, we do not accept your replays as evidence, because it just opens up just so many
a huge can of worms.
Potential. He said, she
But if
said
you've
stuff. So
recorded a
we will
replay-
always go off what the stream shows.
Yeah,
and we will make a
absolutely.
decision based upon that. Because
Absolutely.
otherwise, it gets into ridiculous he said, she said territory, and you can end up with people sending different replays and going, "Well, from my perspective, it looks like this," and then someone else sends their replay and go, "Ah, yes, but from my perspective, it looks like this," and you go, "Yeah, because it's the internet."
Welcome to the internet.
Yeah.
Thank you
If
for
you've
playing,
recorded it
Jamie.
and it's lagged,
This time it has not
Then-
gone your way. From everything that we've seen, including the replay that you just sent, that looks to me like a load of grip suddenly comes into the car from your perspective, rather than there being a massive slowdown from Zura. So we're standing by that decision, and that's all we can say about it. And we're sorry if you don't find that to be acceptable, but that's
In
how
respect to that,
it is.
Don't get me wrong. I'm happy to discuss a call after an event, but there are no protests. So if you have an issue with the call, come talk to us after the event, preferably the day after the event, because after event you tend to be kind of tired.
Absolutely. I'm going to put these guys under starters orders. Anders now has them under control. This is Bartek Kakowski leading in Macaulay Smith. This is a late call for Macaulay Smith. Bartek Kakowski has had time to get dialed in on this track. He's looking really strong in practice. Bartek going and absolutely firing it up onto the wall. That GT86 getting locked in. That 2J under the bonnet singing away as Macaulay Smith surges, tries to get that 13.5 to manoeuvre how he wants it to. A little bit of lag from both guys as they come through that transition and out onto the wall. Bartek locking in onto that outside zone at 3. Really pushing that little car right out to the wall. And there's contact. Oh, there's definite contact. Let's go back and watch that again.
From what I could see, it looked like Macaulay had a bit of a laggy and just tapped him. Not to mention the fact that Macaulay, irrespective of that, Macaulay then does straighten before the finish line. So even if he wasn't at fault for the contact,
No, we're
it
not
still
on
doesn't
that
matter.
anymore, Christopher. It's first zero.
For what?
First zero. Yes.
I
It
mean,
just looks like Macaulay lagged and causes the contact, to be honest with you.
yeah, I think I agree with that. That looks to me like we have certainly a priority there. The Drifter 95, you only just following us. Oh, come on, man. That's just not on. So, this time round, it will be Macaulay Smith to lead in. Bartek Kakowski. Macaulay is in that lead position. They are under starters orders. If I can press go and send it, they are ready to go. Let's see this. Bartek Kakowski chasing in Macaulay Smith on the line. 900 horsepower apiece. Here we go. They are firing it into this initiation at Irwindale. This is going to be crucial. Is Bartek going to be able to rein in his enthusiasm as Macaulay gets up towards the wall? Has a little bit of a wobble from both drivers. Oh, that's almost a straighten from Bartek in the chase position there as he comes through, trying to get everything under control. Out onto the wall at 3. This is where we had that contact before. Bartek looking very scrappy in that chase position. Coming firing round, out onto the end of that outside zone. Round, through and across the line. Let's see that again.
One more time. Bartek, in my opinion, had an incomplete on that first turn.
Yeah, but in his defence, Macaulay looks very laggy.
That doesn't excuse you going 30 foot under the line and understeering to the point where you are not actually in drift.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
he
but
was
does it
actually
make
off
it
the
an
inside edge of the track there.
unfaithful lead?
BMX Chrome and Spartan Josie, thank you very much for the follows. Right, let's
He
have a
made
look
his own
at
life
this.
hard by chasing him so much lower on the bank. Like, if he'd have just slotted up on the bank, he'd have been fine. It's his own fault. Incomplete chase to incomplete chase. One more time.
Okay.
Honestly, Bartek.
If you disagree, make a call. It doesn't bother me.
I think there was a straighten there. I think there was a full.
Well, there was the straighten, but what I'm saying is it caused by the lead car being unchaseable.
I don't
He
think
was
that's
very
unchaseable.
slow out the gate.
Unchaseable.
and then
Centuria,
he-
thank
he
you very much for the
looked
follow.
wobbly.
I don't think it's unchaseable.
And he just fell through the track there.
Oh, he's lagging, yeah, but I don't think it's unchaseable. Because also look at Bartek's track position. He's
I agree.
So far down the bank.
I agree with Chris. That's two OMTs from the judging panel. So, Chris, whilst I can see your point of view on this one, to me that was just too far back, too inconsistent. Didn't need to be doing that. If he'd just put himself in a position and stuck to it after that first run, he'd have had a clear win. He could have almost sat 3 car lengths back and just done the run, and it would have been fine. It would have worked out in his favour. But
yeah,
that was an attempt to be aggressive where there was no need to be aggressive, and it ended up just backfiring against him. So we are going to rerun the fun. We are sending them again. They are heading back round to line up now. This is Bartek Kikowski to lead in. Macaulay Smith again. Bartek pulling up to the line. This time we're hoping we get a full pull. I'm putting them under starters orders. They are ready. Let's see what happens this time as Bartek Kikowski leads in Macaulay Smith. 2JZ GD86 versus S13.5 with an RB28. Huge power on the grid. Here we go. Starting to fire it in. Bartek Kikowski nice and high. Good line into that initiation. Starts to angle up, but he's looking a little bit of a wave around that first section, but he slots it nicely all the way through turn 1. This transition could prove crucial for the guys as they come into here. Slotting down into 3 then. Bartek Kikowski looking imperious out in front as Macaulay has that same little wobble as last time, trying to get back up onto the door in the middle of clip 3. Nicely through into 4 and across the line. Let's see that again.
Bad.
Not bad, not great, not bad. How many Rutgen was that?
I'll go with
I thought that was a nice run from Bartek, looking pretty solid in the lead position. One of the better lead runs we've seen so far, filling all of those zones.
Macaulay's connection.
Yeah, Macaulay's having a problem with that connection there. But that is the nature of an online competition. We have the host server out in the US to try and give the guys the best chance across the world of having this. Chris and I have a different approach to how we do this because he's very Eurocentric with it. We get a lot of Americans competing out here. So here we go. They're on the line and are going again. Macaulay Smith this time leading in Bartek Kikowski. Bartek goes way too aggressive. Bartek goes way too aggressive, or maybe Macaulay overslowed. We'll have to look at the replay and see as they come firing through. Macaulay finishing off that run as Bartek comes shooting through again, slotting up onto that rear quarter, trying to get that aggression down. He's trying to punctuate this run after such a good lead. He's really trying to load the rear quarter of that car up with fill it with GT86. They come across the line and through the finish. Don't mind me, I'm just choking on my own saliva like some kind of gibbering idiot. So there was definitely a waiver from the guys through that first section. I think we're going to have to go back and watch that again. Chris Viltovsky, your thoughts, please.
Yeah. Just, it's one of those, isn't it? It's just a bit awkward. I don't think that Macaulay really does anything wrong in the lead. He's
very slow entry.
A little late to power, but it's the difference in closing speed. Like we start and we're okay, and then Bartek undercuts that is further down on the line and is down on angle, and I don't think he necessarily speeds up. It's just that Macaulay isn't quite settled on the throttle yet, and then Bartek is. But then technically that would be, well, it's out of a diesel, isn't it?
It is a diesel zone. It's just, I think, for us, a question now
where
whether we think that.
Is the question, rather.
Come on, start the replay again. The diesel ends at the start of the line for the throttle zone. I think he picked it back up as he went into that section. I think that was I mean, it was a hard decel, but it was definitely within the zone.
Yeah, but I think he got on the hydro and got on the foot brake.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, his smoke drops, so he goes to enter on flick, gets a bit of smoke, smoke disappears, and then as he rolls back on throttle, he then gets hit at that point.
So it's just purely down to, do we think that he's on throttle at the right time?
It looks to me more like Bartek went too hard.
That's what it looks like to me as well.
It doesn't look unchaseably slow. It's not the fastest entry, but you can see he's trying to settle into a nice high line, and Bartek just goes a bit too aggressive, and it's the fact that he comes in low angle quite fast. I would err with that being chase fault rather than lead in that instance, which would then give Macaulay the win.
Is that your verdict?
Would it?
Chris Filtowski?
Yeah.
Okay. 1 vote for Macaulay Smith. Christopher Ennis. Challenging times in the judging tower.
It is, yes. I suppose it's got to be, hasn't it, really? Because although Macaulay's chase was
on the
terrible,
reverse, there's nothing to overturn an incomplete. It was 5-5, maybe a weak 6-4 to chase on that first run.
Macaulay Smith has shared the stream because he wants people to see the verdict of this particular one.
Yeah, for me, the Bartek had an advantage on his lead, but yeah, it's got to be Macaulay.
Okay,
Yeah,
that is
it
then.
Or if we want to anger someone that is probably not going to be here but might hear this, he dangos it.
Macaulay gets the win in a unanimous, if controversial, outcome to that battle. Bartek, we think, the judges unanimously think that that was an acceptable amount of slowing, and that means that Macaulay Smith advances into the top 16 to take on Adam Lake, which means that just like last week when we previously had these stand-in drivers turning up, just like last week so far, all of the stand-in drivers have made it through to the top 16. Are we going to see another route where the stand-in drivers make it all the way through to the final? This is how that first part of the bracket is shaping up whilst we get the next group sorted. Adam Lake taking on Macaulay Smith. That is Zura Disamidze taking on Martinez Ostraka. Still on this half of the battle, Warren Greener to take on Abdullah Abu Hussein. Josh Hartshorn to take on Johan Garcia. That's coming up next. This next part of the battle is Vlad Zazulia versus Ilya Tsiklari. And Octavian Shelarou versus Sandro Shanturia. On the other side of the bracket, Wojciech Wawrika, Chris Leicup, Primus Levante versus Ryan Sider, Shea McCullough versus Cormac Gard, Josh Oxley versus Misho Tsukuradze, and Alexander Jaeger versus Carter Cavalli, Ian Koenig versus Daryl Diaz, Steve Smith versus Chevently Maurizia, and Craig Fulgham versus Lewis Monks. But right now, Adam Lake, Macaulay Smith.
Spelled Craig's name wrong.
Again.
It's UM in it, not AM. Also, it's Joshua William Hartshorn.
Yes, it doesn't fit in a box, Joshua William Hartshorn. How do I keep on spelling Craig's name wrong? This is really upsetting me.
Mate.
I know what it is, because he never signs up. So we've not actually ever got it written down.
Oh, throwing shade there.
Shade!
Careful,
Right.
I might have to throw shade at how the VDC stream's nicer looking.
I mean, that's fair. It probably is. You've had a lot more time doing it, and it's not just one man in a bedroom trying to make things work.
No, it's 2.
Exactly. It makes a difference. They get to spend more time touching tips.
Well,
So, next up, Warren Greener takes on Abdullah Abu Hussein. Now, Warren Greener in the RX-8. That car is all side bite. It could really struggle round here. It's going to be interesting with that V8. Warren managed to join into the stream. He was one of the last-minute stand-ins last week, and he made it all the way through to the final. Sadly lost out in the final, but he had an amazing run all the way through to the final from the stand-in position. Is he, having signed up again this week, going to be able to make it all the way through again? because we have the same final as last week are on opposite sides of the bracket. Kerry Fulgham and Warren Greener are on opposite sides of the bracket. This could be a really interesting mix-up. Neither of the Chris's are convinced.
What?
What? What?
Sorry. What? Sorry, I judge. I don't do hype.
I'm not a hype man. If anything, Chris Viltovsky even is the opposite of a hype man. He is the pull you back down to earth with a bang man. He is not here to make anything better. He is here to make everybody sad. Oh,
I
and
like
I'm
to
being
think
brought
that
coffee.
I would be really, really
Thank
good
you
on a
very
live
much.
stream because I would just make everybody
give
feel
me-
really
give me
bad
a second,
about
guys.
themselves.
What's up?
Ben,
Hello.
was Jack changed out with Johan without you telling me?
Oh, apparently so. Sorry, I thought I told you.
Just making sure.
That's my fault.
Hey, no worries. Just wanted
This
to
is my
confirm.
first coffee of the morning, and I've been awake for 3.5 hours, so I'm only just going to be starting to get my brain in gear. I apologise.
Yeah, it's
So
all
what you're
good.
saying
It's
is
all good.
by the time we get to the Great 8, you're going to be like, okay, I'm awake now.
Yeah, by the time we finally get to the final... I mean, what's happened here is that
Yes.
we went out and saw some friends last night. I'm going to bring the stream into this while we're waiting for these guys to get G'd up.
And
And
doing alcohol, Ben.
we went to some friends, and I was driving because I had this morning's event, so I didn't drink very much, and Steph also didn't drink very much. However, somehow this morning she has woken up hungover to feck, and
Wait, what?
and has ordered McDonald's on delivery. So I've just been handed a hash brown, a coffee, and a bacon and egg McMuffin. So cheers,
There is
folks.
literally nothing wrong with this image. This is the perfect start to the morning. Is okay. All right. So now while we're doing the talking to stream thing, then. So is Kiwi McDonald's better than English
Oh,
McDonald's?
Kiwi
'Cause I think
McDonald's is-
English McDonald's is awful.
Kiwi McDonald's is almost real food.
Oh, that makes me very.
Wasn't it
jealous.
almost?
Well, no McDonald's anywhere in the world. Oh, no, I recant that.
Apparently, Japanese
No.
McDonald's is really good.
When I was out in the Canaries for work,
Okay, here we go. Here we
I
go.
had
Pilot flex.
I had a McDonald's burger as an evening meal there, and it was a local specialty McDonald's, and it was a goat's cheese and caramelized onion, and it was sublime, like genuinely a properly good burger.
Well,
So you heard it here first. If you need a good McDonald's, go to
apparently,
the
if you
Canaries.
need a good McDonald's, you just need to charter a flight to the Canary Islands.
Right,
Which
it looks like
at
we've
the
got
moment
these
is
guys up
possibly
to the line. It is Warren Greener in the lead position.
Oh, damn it! I should have got my donuts.
Oh, you missed out. Now it's too late. Warren Greener leading in Abdullah Abu Hussein. These guys have not seen battle before, to my knowledge, over the course of the competitions that we've been running here. Warren Greener in the lead position in that RX-8. Off the line, being chased by Abdullah Abu Hussein in the yellow S13.5. And look at that RX-8 get hooked up. Warren Greener absolutely flying round that outside edge, but Abdullah Abu Hussein surging up onto his door before the end of clip 1. Now through clip 2 and 3. Abdullah looking a little bit ragged, trying to get that positioning back. He's slotted in now onto that rear quarter, coming firing in onto the end of 3. There's through clip 4. A little bit of contact at clip 4 and across the line at 5. Let's see that again.
A little too late from shows.
As for donuts, Chris, Asda do the best donuts.
Nah, Morrison's.
No.
Morrison's also do the best bread. Actually, no.
You lie.
Morrison's / Lidl do really good bread.
I see our Asda does really good bread because we've got the bakery built in.
Yeah,
Whereas the
so does
bakery
Morrison's,
at
so does
Morrison's-
Lidl.
I
I,
know, the
I
bakery
personally
at
just think the
Morrison's
quality of
does
bread
the
you get.
soft stuff.
This is the most middle class stream we've had. But yeah, no. I personally, I think the fresh baked bread from Morrison's and Lidl is better than the other supermarkets.
But it's not fresh baked at Morrison's. They just
Well.
defrost it.
I love the fact that you guys are still discussing this. Either way,
No,
we are
they
back
do
underway.
not
Abdullah
take
Abu
it.
Hussein in the lead position. Warren Greener slotted right up on him. Look at that RX-8 surging. Oh, Warren Greener's made a mistake there. Definitely trying to keep 2 tucks in onto Abdullah Abu Hussein. Ended up straightening under braking. Left foot braking for all he was worth. Could not keep it pointing the right way. And then all by himself, Abdullah Abu Hussein has had a mistake. Coming through into this final section and across the line. Let's look at the replay.
Abdul had a mistake, but it wasn't a full straight. Warren,
Whoa.
I'm pretty sure, was like very, very, very straight.
48MS, thank you for the resubscription, and Royal Keith, thank you for the follow. Let's have a look at these guys firing through here. That's a bit of a straight in there, but I don't think that's enough. Do we have a winner? Gentlemen.
For me, I would be maybe. It would be very harsh to call that an incomplete, but I'd be certainly calling that a major error. If it's not an incomplete, which I don't know, personally I think it is an incomplete. I think he's so close, if not definitely. For me, it's an incomplete, and it then goes to Abdullah. If it wasn't an incomplete and it was just a chasing error, and then it would have gone one more time. But to me,
does
no.
Abdullah
I
have
think...
a mistake? It's a wobble, but I don't think he hits the wall.
No, I think.
No, in chase.
I think in chase this is a chance where Warren Greener just gets too aggressive.
But yeah, for me, I think it's.
Were you on about Abdullah's mistake in the chase? In
his chase run, yeah, being a bit average.
Yeah.
No, for me, it's incomplete. So
yeah,
it goes to
Abdullah Abu Hussein. For me, I think that was on the verge of being ye oldie classic one more time. But either way, even if I think that is 2-1, both of the Chris's are in agreement, and that goes to Abdullah Abu Hussein. He advances, takes on last week's podium man. Abdullah made it through to the final four last week as well, and this time he is going all the way, potentially, as he knocks out Warren Greener, one of last week's finalists in our top two. Warren finally placing second to Craig Fulgham last week. But who is Abdullah Abu Hussein going to be facing? Great questions, must have great answers. This is neither of those things, but either way, it is Josh Hartshorn. I still haven't taken any of this coffee, and my brain is coming up with some weird rubbish. Josh Hartshorn to take on Johan Garcia.
Neck the coffee, and just it's fine.
Neck the coffee and just pretend that everything's okay. I'm going to try some of this sausage and cheese sandwich.
Okay, well, stream. He's now going to give you a bit of ASMR, so you're welcome. We now have the man with a horny heart against. There's nothing really fun to it with Garcia, is there?
No, there isn't anything fun you can do with that, and you can't. We must remember that Joshua William Hartshorn does not like to be known as Joshua William Hartshorn. And somehow they've ended up in matching cars, both of them in this weird livery. But Josh Hartshorn in the lead position, firing it up onto that outside line in that little SR20, well, big SR20 something displacement powered S14, firing through in that middle section, out onto the wall now, getting back on the power, being chased by the other S14 of Johan Garcia as they come through and across the line. That's not a bad lead run from Josh Hartshorn. Chris, talk us through it.
There were quite a lot of bobbles though throughout that lead, unfortunately. Obviously, I have no idea whether the stream's on the right time for me, but for me, they've just entered now. Yeah, so as we come through turn one, he does have a few bobbles here and there. He's making a couple of little angle corrections, nothing horrific. Whereas in the chase, Johan's making a reasonable dive of it through turn one, catches back up. Then as we get to turn two, it's reasonably clean, but again, as they're about halfway around the outside zone, again, there's a sizable angle correction from that lead position that I think probably causes a bit of separation, a bit of angst from that chase, not necessarily wanting to get too tight in there, because, well, let's face it, you're not exactly going to trust someone that's made a big bobble in front of you.
That is fair. That all looks fair.
I would be going as a strong 7-3 to the chase, owing mostly to the fact that there are a couple of critical angle corrections that Josh makes in that lead position that would have made it quite awkward to chase. And he still does a pretty damn good job of keeping up with him.
Well, okay. I tend to agree with most of that. I've put them under starters orders. This is now Johan Garcia in the lead position. Joshua William Hartshorn in the chase as they come firing through that start line. Johan Garcia in the lead position, goes for that initiation. Joshua Hartshorn absolutely trying to mirror that angle, but a bobble from both drivers in the same position. Joshua William Hartshorn coming, surging up onto that inside. Is that too aggressive? Oh, it might not matter as Johan Garcia fails to make it into the start of clip 3. Coming through this section, Joshua and William Hartshorn managing to rein it in enough to get up onto the door again through clip 4, and then a little bit of a gap opening up as they come through into 5. Let's see that one more time on the replay. As Chris Ennis finished his curry, as Chris Piltovsky has gone for his donuts, and I'm eating a delivery McDonald's. This is the big error for me. That is the biggest error from the whole battle, is Johan Garcia in the lead position coming into clip 3. Chris, your thoughts?
Yeah,
Which one? For
I don't
me,
know.
Josh's chase was better, and Josh's lead was better. I don't think Johan was as close in the chase.
No,
won't
to me,
replay again.
Josh has a lot of angle corrections and makes a ridiculous dive up the inside on Johan. The dive that Joshua makes coming into turn 2, it almost looks like that's why Johan goes wide, because it almost looks like he's fearing for his car's life.
Yeah, but they're virtual cars, so that's not an excuse.
To me, that mistake didn't look at all like it was. Let's see if the replay will play again. Yes, it is. Good. I don't think you'd notice that in the lead position coming into there. I don't think Josh was alongside him at a point where it was something that would have caused the kind of backing out that we see. Let's have a look.
Yeah, no, he just understeers.
He's just understeers. He's on the wrong line before the start of it. Evo Drifter, thank you for the follow. Welcome along.
No, he's not on power. Yeah, no, big lead error that's independent of anything the chase is doing. Therefore, Mr. Hartshorn takes the win.
Well, there we go. That will make him very happy. The man who we as a team are supporting, one of the men that we are supporting in their ambition to take things through in ESDA, Joshua William Hartshorn, gets the win and advances on to the top 16, where he will face Abdullah Abu Hussein. Let's have a look. Octav Shuddery, thank you for the follow. Vlad Zizulya versus Ilya Tsiklori. Wow, at some point I'm going to really mess one of these names up. Vlad Zizulya is our leader for this, and Ilya Tsiklori. There we are.
That was it. Remember, folks, that not 10 minutes ago, he was going on about how it's a very US-centric competition.
Well, you don't know where they are.
I mean, the name suggests something, my dude.
Shush. You shut your whore mouth.
Well, Vlad has literally got a Ukrainian flag.
I said shut it.
Ilya has no flag, but Ilya, I mean, come on.
Let's get these guys underway regardless. Vlad Zizulya versus Ilya Tsiklori. Vlad Zizulya to lead. Vlad lined up in that lead position in the... I can't even see what it is right now as I put them under starters orders with Anders. Let's have a proper look.
13.5 and an E92.
There we are. 13.5 and an E92. Thank you. And they are off. That is Vlad Zizulya in the lead position.
What?
That was a poor choice by the chasing car.
That was not the one. That was definitely not the one. I don't want to see that again as Vlad Zizulya now finally gets himself hooked up, comes firing through down onto that outside line as Ilya in the chase position ends up all the way inside. That's almost wheels off there as Vlad also has a big correction going through clip 3. That is not what we wanted to see. Let's have a look at that again. This coming off the line is just an absolute launch by Ilya in the chase position. Doesn't realise that Vlad goes through that chicane so slowly and then gets it hooked up, and that's the lead position. He was getting underway at a suitable and sensible pace. Ilya absolutely took off trying to drag race him into the inside of that first corner.
Don't think the lead completes. I don't think.
No, he missed the second to last clip, but...
No, it's before that. But it didn't look like he straightened.
It looks like there's a wobble coming through clip 3, but I don't know if it's a straighten.
More like a wobble than a full straighten. It's one of those where it's very hard to see because the cameras are far a chuffing way, and it looks like he's still maintaining the drift and the momentum. So I don't think it's a reinitiation. It's kind of hard to see though. However, had the chase actually been doing his job at that point, he would have got run over. But it doesn't matter because the chase was. Anyway, next run.
I'm putting them under starters orders. Let's get this underway. They are ready to go, it seems. The clickbaiters are here. That means I've finally succeeded. As Ilya leads us in, this time getting the pacing right on his run into turn one. Vlad Zazulya in that chase position, slotted down into that rear quarter now. This transition is going to be crucial. Is Vlad going to kick? Oh no, and Ilya's put it in the wall. That's an independent error for sure by the lead driver, Ilya. Absolutely spanking that car into the wall. Ilya Tsakluri, let's have a look at that on the replay. Do I want to become famous and buy followers? No, I don't think I do. I think I'd rather provide quality content that people actually want to see. Unfortunately, on the subject of quality content, this battle did not end with quality content. That ended with a massive smash straight into the wall. That is a brutal wreck, the kind that Irwindale is known for. And I think that really only means that we can have one winner. Can we confirm, gentlemen?
We can make the discount jokes about Vlad the Impaler.
Okay. That is unanimous then. Vlad Zazulya gets the win and advances on to the top 16. Who will he face in the battle to have the most difficult name for me to say on stream? We then have Vlad Zazulya taking on either Octavian Chelaru or Sandro Chanturia. That is our next battle.
Ah, you got it right.
You're just waiting for me to trip up, aren't you?
I'm just waiting for you to say what we were all suggesting you were going to say prior to the stream starting.
Oh no, that's not until the next half.
No,
That's the second battle of the next half.
Oh, okay. Well, stream. All I'm saying is that it's entirely possible Ben might get someone's name confused with a body part.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and they're setting me up to do it by constantly reminding me about it. So I'm trying to be very conscious of not saying it, which of course is the one way to trigger automatically saying it. So Primus, I'm very sorry if what they're trying to make me say happens. I'm sorry in advance. In your battle with Ryan Sider, that could just be awful and embarrassing. But in the meantime, we have Octavian Chelaru versus Sandro Chanturia. Octavian Chelaru in the lead. Octav using that 2J GT86 again. He's firing along that side. We've got a reasonable start in the chase position this time. Octavian Chelaru firing it up onto the wall, getting that hammer down. Really nice. Bit of a waver there, actually, from both drivers as they come through that kink in the middle of the turn at Irwindale. Now down onto the infield, firing it out onto the wall. This is the slowdown section where people have been constantly clipping things, but that is nice from both drivers. Oh, just as I say it, a bit of a wobble in the chase position from Sandro there as they come round and across the line. Let's watch that again.
Not bad.
Yeah, it was a complete run from both drivers.
Separation on entry. Chase does a good job to tidy it up, but then again that's more because Octav gets the line a bit wrong, has to back off power. And as we come down into turn 2, the transition is too bad, then two's basically in the pocket. I'd probably end up going with 6-4 chase, mostly for the fact that Octav, as I said, had that little bit of off throttle there. Had the U92 been with him, he probably would have got run over.
Okay, so we have swapped round. It is now Sandro to lead. Sandro Chanturia is in that lead position now in that E92. And Octavian Chelaru in the chase is in that 2JZ GT86. Oh, we're seeing another big jump from the chase position. This is that everyone's going full Martin Richards at Riga to try and get that jump, and it's not been working out for people in the chase position so far as Octav starts to get left behind a little bit as Sandro gets that line beautifully right through turn 1. Just drops a wheel a little bit. That's going to be late. That's definitely going in the wall. That was way too late. He had the line so right through turn 1. He was just carrying too much speed, couldn't keep the car under control, and Octav did a brilliant job job of not having an even more horrifying coming together. Let's see that again.
Yeah, Octave takes the win. Let's get the next lot with joining the server.
I think that needs very little introduction. As you can see there, that transition through clip 2, absolutely oversent by Sandro there in the lead position. Got his first corner so right that he was carrying more speed than he was expecting. Fires it into the wall, round and across the line. So, that means Octavian Shelaru goes through to take on Vlad Zazulya. That is our next battle in the top 16 when we get through to it. Those guys will be going on to face one another. And that means that we have one half of our top 16 is all keyed up and ready to go. And it looks like this as I press buttons madly.
And I'm getting donuts.
Adam Lake will take on Macaulay Smith. First battle of the top 16. Zura Diasamides takes on Martinez Ostraker. Abdullah Abu Hussein takes on Josh Hartshorn to see who can make their way through there. Joshua William Hartshorn. Vlad Zazulya takes on Octavian Shelaru. That is the left-hand side of the brackets. Top 16 all sorted and ready to go. On the other side, from our top 32, still to run, Wojciech Wawrika versus Chris Lykup. Primus Levante versus Ryan Sider. Shay McCullough versus Cormac Gard. Josh Oxley versus Misho Tsitskaridze. And Alexander Jaeger versus Carter Cavalli, Ian Koenig versus Daryl Diaz, Steve Smith versus Joventli Maurizia, and Craig Fulgham versus Lewis Monks. That is how things have shaped up so far. Well. Chris Ennis, your thoughts so far?
There has been some drifting.
Yes.
So far, drifting has lost.
And some losers.
Congratulations, Chris. You have just summarised the format in the most eloquent way possible. Are you
suggesting that he's an eloquent person?
Look, yeah. I'm saying that there are eloquent things about Chris Ennis, and we should recognise them, and we should enjoy them. And whilst we're waiting for the top 32 to continue, we should appreciate Chris Ennis to his full.
We should enjoy and appreciate Chris Ennis.
I'm trying to say that. I'm trying to maintain a straight face while I say it, and in order to maintain that straight face on stream, I'm going to send the people that we can send to advert. And then the rest of you who are still stuck around can see me trying to maintain the straight face while we talk about Chris Ennis as an eloquent and verbose,
lovely person,
eloquent speaker. It's definitely a thing. Definitely. 100% yes. There's been some drifting, there's been some winners, and there's been some losers. Chris. I mean that, I suppose, technically speaking, that's correct. That is, technically speaking, the truth. I
think I've broken Ben.
Oh,
it's
dear.
okay. There's enough people on to get some more battles going, so you know.
Right, so let's try and get back to the action. Wojciech Wawrika will take on Chris Lykup. This is Chris Lykup, ex-Formula D Pro 2 driver Chris Lykup, who has driven plenty at Irwindale in real life. He was on a lot yesterday and earlier during the course of the day trying to get his car dialed in for this event. He said he was feeling confident when I spoke to him earlier. He said he was looking forward to doing some driving. Now, unfortunately for him, he's joined Wojciech Wawrika, who has been looking really strong at every competition that we've run over the course of the last few weeks. So, is Formula D's Chris Lykup outmatched by Wojciech Wawrika on the night tonight? That's what we're about to find out.
Or can he outdo the commentator's curse?
Yeah, I'm just
Given
throwing
that
it
Ben
around.
has hyped the guy up a lot.
Yes. He's going straight into the wall.
They are under starters' orders. I'm giving you a commentator's curse and you a commentator's curse. Commentator's curses for everybody. Let's see this go. Wojciech Wawrzyka leading in. Chris Lycup, the 13.5 versus the 2JS15. Chris Lycup surging up onto that quarter. He is not expecting Wojciech Wawrzyka to be going that slowly and making that many corrections. I'm not even sure Wojciech didn't have a triple initiation at the beginning as Chris Lycup drops 2 wheels off the inside, trying to keep that car slowed down, tucked up onto the rear quarter of Wojciech Wawrzyka. Look at that surge. Can Chris hold it under control? Yes, he can, just about, as they come through clip 4 and across the line. There are many things about that I wish to see again. Let's have a look at them.
Many things I don't wish to see
I'm
again.
pretty sure that Chris drops pretty much all 4 tyres over the yellow line, but yeah. Yeah, he does, for sure.
Well,
Which is thus incomplete.
Chris Lycup gets the full force of the commentator's curse, both barrels. Trying to stay in behind Wojciech Wawrzyka there, and I appear to have dropped out of the server. That's good. You guys still connected?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Guess I'll send you guys to a replay again while I try and reconnect.
So, everyone, if we just take a moment to appreciate this
Thing?
this run.
The thisness of this run.
This is truly a run for
The recycle
I don't
bin?
want to say for the ages because that's just not true. It's a run, everybody.
It's a run. Congratulations. What happened there is a run. Well, so on the chat, interesting development. Joshua William Hartshorn has just put into the chat that he thinks he just broke his toe.
It's fine. You've got another 9. You don't need 1 toe for drifting. Come on.
You don't need a toe. Toes are overrated.
I mean, all I'm going to say
look at
is
that
that
sunset.
Victor Alves at the beginning of the VDC season broke his foot riding MX bikes and competed and still did well at events without a clutch foot. Admittedly, he drives a VR38, but we'll ignore that fact.
Will we ignore that fact? Let's get these guys
Yeah.
underway. It is Wojciech Wawrzyka now to lead in. Sorry, to be chased. Oh, crikey. To chase in Chris Lycup. Wojciech Wawrzyka is chasing in Chris Lycup here. They are on the start line under starters' orders. Chris Lycup going to have to do some serious work to overcome that last battle where he had those wheels off on the inside. It looked to me like he was being checked up by how slowly he was having to go in behind Wojciech Wawrzyka. Let's see them get this battle underway. They are, as far as I can tell, I did press send. They are under starters' orders. Just double checking. There we go. Wojciech Wawrzyka chasing in Chris Lycup. Formula D's Chris Lycup coming firing in. Goes for that initiation. Nice and high up onto the bank. That's looking really strong from him round there. Absolutely slotted in. Little bit of a waver actually, just as I say he was looking really strong round there. Then through this transition down into the infield section. Angles up hard into that outside zone at 3. Getting back on the power, Chris gets into the wall. Loses control as he gets into the wall. Manages to somehow recover it round and across the line. And you guys didn't see any of that because I had us on the wrong camera trying to get things sorted. That's excellent. Let's see that again. Here we go. They are underway, firing through. It's not a bad lead from Chris up until we get into the outer zone at 3. And then it all goes Pete Tong for him there. Dane Turksmer, thank you very much for the like. Welcome along. Right, let's see these guys. Gentlemen, do we have a verdict?
Drifting loses.
Drifting loses. Chris Ennis, would you like to extol on the virtues of the evening in many, many words again this evening?
You really want me to pick a winner out of that?
Yes.
I don't know if I can.
For me, it's easy. It's Wojciech. End of the day, his lead isn't great, but he doesn't have a complete and total boo-boo, whereby he drives all four wheels off track in the chase for no real reason, which is what Chris did. Then on the reverse of that, Wojciech has a pretty decent chase, and then Chris drives into the wall, and then is very, very close to completing on his lead as well. So for me, Wojciech takes the win.
Yeah, Wojciech takes the win for
Not
me as well.
clean, but, you know, drifting loses.
So, that's 2. Chris, is it unanimous?
Yeah.
Ish. Chris is really unhappy about that. Chris Ennis not sure he wants to commit to that, but it doesn't matter. 2-1, even if it's an unsettled one, that is Wojciech Wawrzyka taking the win, knocking out FD's Chris Lykup and advancing through to the top 16. Now, this is a battle that should be interesting. This is the one the guys are trying to get me to specifically not say correctly. As
What? We would never do this.
Ryan Sider chases in Primus Leventi.
Damn!
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to say it. Primus Leventi in the lead car in that S14.
Yeah,
Ryan
not gonna
Sider
do it.
in the massively powerful S550 Mustang RTR in the chase position. They are on the start line and under starters' orders. Here we go. That is Primus Leventi firing off the line, trying to get away from Ryan, but we know that Mustang is incredibly quick on the run-in. Primus Leventi gets a nice flick there. It's a good high line there. Ryan Sider giving him a little bit of room. He's not driven with Primus before. He doesn't know how he's going to manoeuvre around that first corner. Maybe Ryan giving himself a bit too much to do, making up that chase position as Primus fires in onto that outside line at 3. But no, he's got it in the wall. That's the first big mistake we've seen there as he fires it into the wall, coming round and across the line through clip 5. Let's have a look at that again, gentlemen.
Ryan wasn't bad in the chase, but Primus unfortunately there does have sizable contact with the wall in turn 2, and then in turn 1 he's making lots and lots of angle corrections. You saw him at the wheel a hell of a lot, so that's a strong 7-3 advantage in chase for doing a pretty good chase job despite the lead doing stuff.
The lead doing stuff. Excellent. Well, as the lead has done stuff, let's get back to it. They are now going under starters' orders. Ryan Sider now to lead in Primus Leventi. I'm still managing to get it right, boys. I haven't said it yet. Here is Ryan Sider leading in Primus Leventi. They are off the line. Look at that Mustang hook up. It is just gone. Ryan's in a different postcode before Primus Leventi initiates there. But Primus starting to reel him back in as we come round. It's a very shallow, very low line to do it. Slotting in onto that rear quarter. He's sacrificing everything to get close to that Mustang as they come firing in onto that outer zone. Ryan looking locked in through 3. Starts to angle up to come away from the wall at 3. Down across the inside line at 4. Just gets onto the outer section there, but still makes it and nicely across the line. Chris Viltovsky, what criticism do you have for Ryan Sider? I know you've got some.
Just a small angle correction at the start of the bank. You could have run the bank higher the whole way as well. Other than that, pretty good through the transition, really nice and tidy on that, and then just does a sensible job on the second bank. Yeah, really it's that first bank. He just needs to enter just a little bit higher, a little bit more commitment, get out to that wall, and then also try and get down to that last inner clip as well. Other than that, good solid lead run, and yeah, obviously nothing there that the chase does to overturn the disadvantage he was already on, so Ryan takes the win.
Chris Ennis?
Yeah.
The yes man has returned. Chris Ennis says yes.
That was a yeah.
So,
The yeah man has
Ryan
returned.
didn't put a foot wrong.
He did. I already explained where he put a foot wrong.
the difference in level of harshness between you two always really pleases me on a Friday night. But that means Ryan Sider gets the win. I will not have to avoid saying Primus Leventi's name wrong again this evening.
Go on.
No.
Go on.
No.
Go on.
You will. Wojciech Wawrzyka will be facing Ryan Sider in the top 16 after knocking out Primus Leventi. God, I'm not going to do it. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to say his name wrong just for your comedy effect, and I'm not going to say it wrong by accident. We're not going to talk about Primus Leventi again. And that's the tip of it. So, Shay McCullough to lead in Cormac Guard. This has classic battle written all over it. Shay McCullough and Cormac Guard in S13.5s. Identical spec, identical engine. Normally an identical setup. These guys drive together all of the time. Oh my God, I'm being brought another coffee. I don't think I've ever been this happy in my life. This is spectacular. I'm in a great place. These guys are ready. Shay McCullough.
She now made you a cup of coffee.
No, it's another McDonald's coffee. Apparently
So
the
you
order
ordered
of the
two
McDonald's coffee was
didn't want
large.
one and it's just given it you.
Whatever's happened, I've ended up with more as Shay McCullough gets off the line, being chased in by Cormac Guard. Shay McCullough goes for that initiation. Nice big flick, and look at this. Cormac Guard is not in the fight so far through that first corner. Shay McCullough getting the hammer down, goes for this transition. Is Cormac going to be able to re-stamp his authority as Shay McCullough goes for the big flick transition? Wow. That was an aggression move. Let's see that on the action replay, because we're going to have to assign blame for that one.
All the lead fault there. He just went full backy through the transition.
There's nothing saying he can't in the rules, and we have seen in competition battles at this track before that is an acceptable line.
Sure, except for the fact that you can see he drops throttle for a second because his smoke goes away, then he gets back on power, is clearly decelerating, and as per the line map, you can only decelerate once you have completed your transition into the second outer zone. So for me, that's lead fault.
I'm going to watch that one more time just so we can see it. Has Shay McCullough just thrown away a big advantage that he had through that first turn? NVZ, hello, welcome along. This is that transition. We've got to see the throttle. He's on throttle. He lifts for a second. There is a moment of waver. Oh, but he's back on throttle so fast. I just don't think Cormac was prepared for it. Chris Ennis.
I just don't see that as reasonable. There is no reason to do that transition. None at all.
Chris Ennis, are you going to say yes?
No. I think.
Okay.
I think it 50-50. I think there was.
So
a
you're
bit
going
too
with a
much...
5-5 and sacking it off entirely.
Yeah, I think there was a bit too much angle, but I also think Cormac wasn't running enough angle and then just fired it straight.
Okay, so for me,
him.
complete on the lead's fault, so it's a 10-0 chase. Chris is going with a 5-5, and then Ben. He's died.
No, I've not died. I've not died.
Watching it again.
It's a big slowdown. It's huge angle. Alexander Jaeger is making a valid point. Even on throttle, it's a big slowdown. But
yeah.
I want to see Cormac's angle.
I don't think it's.
Just send the second run. Doesn't matter. Like if you two think it's too close to call, just go with 5-5. I'm staying with what I've already said. Doesn't matter. Just send the second run.
Maybe it'll be taking it out of our hands. Let's see. As Cormac Guard now leads in Shay McCullough. Shay McCullough, after that enormous flick transition through the centre section, trying to get maximum wangle out of it. Oh, whoa, what is going on there from Shay McCullough, surging forwards and backwards. His connection is not working in his favour there as Cormac Guard absolutely rails that outside line. Nice transition there, opening up the gap. Even if this were a 5-5 from the last battle, this looks to be going all Cormac's way as he comes steaming through outside zone 3 into 4. Oh, no!
You said it.
Oh, I said it. I did the thing. I commentated,
Me,
cursed
everyone.
everyone.
That's one more time. Because it's incomplete to incomplete.
I just quickly want to say his car ran out of fuel because
That's his fault.
That's his fault for not bringing enough fuel.
Yep.
Don't take 3 litres of fuel.
Either way, it's a one more time. I've sent it across to Anders. He now knows it. That is a one more time.
Cormac might want to bring some more fuel.
Yeah, Cormac might want to bring enough fuel to finish a run. You know, the basic fundamentals of driving.
Drifting, everybody. Drifting.
This is drifting. where these guys are trying to find every single last advantage, and Cormac had clearly gone out and had been judging his practice runs so that he did 2 runs back to back, and it was exactly enough fuel for that, forgetting that as judges we might need to deliberate on things.
Yeah, but unless he's sat there just ramming throttle, it shouldn't use more than 0.1, maybe.
Yeah,
0.2
no, that's my point.
litres.
I think he had gone as far as the absolute bare minimum, as close as he possibly could.
Oh, it's just not going to make a difference. Just,
No.
ugh.
No, 1 kilo's worth of fuel. Actually, depending on the specific gravity of the fuel, 0.8 of a litres worth, 0.8 of a kilo's worth of fuel is not going to make that much difference. Right, they are on the line. We are back to Shay McCullough leading in. Cormac guard. Let's see what happens here. Santiago Gallardo, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome along. Here we go. Cormac guard chasing in. Shay McCullough. Shay goes for that big flip. Gets on the power. Cormac's much more in the fight this time, but over angles. Oh, and straightens. Cormac guard straightening in the background there. Shay McCullough going for this big flip transition. Is he going to angle up as much this time? No, he doesn't. So it was either a mistake or he's decided to change his tactics. Either way, that's definitely so far looking like a strong advantage to Shay McCullough as Cormac guard surges up. Shay's trying to keep that line nice and smooth round and across the line. Let's see that again. Who was that?
Right,
Virtual Finish
Shay,
Hornet. Thank you for the
10-0
follow. Sorry, Chris, I was talking across you.
10-0 to Shay, isn't it? Because by your own rule book, it's first mistake, first incomplete, that's the run over. So the second that Cormac straightens up on the bank, that's the run over at that point.
Yep. That is correct. Not that it would have mattered. I didn't see anything from Shay there that would have overturned a 0 from the first corner.
No, I'm just making sure she didn't call it.
No,
Well,
that
Cormac
looks pretty
is
good
like-
to me.
like-
Badger Collective, welcome along. Thank you for the follow. That is a tremendous name. I like it a lot. Right. Let's see if Cormac Guard has enough fuel to finish a run.
Or internet.
Oh.
Well,
Ooh.
you know,
What's... Oh.
man's throwing shade at the Irish.
Cormac Guard off the line.
given
Shay
what
McCullough
Belfast is currently
with
like,
a
that's a
massive,
great
massive advantage. Is he going to be able to hold on to it as he does exactly what Cormac did at the beginning of the first run from this one more time? Surges up onto the door at the end. Oh, and then that is a straighten. That's another straighten.
Is it?
That looked to me like Shay McCullough had a big straighten as we came through the power alley. We'll have to go back to that on the replay.
Was it a straighten or just a very late transition?
Oh, it's going to come down to the replay decision. Gentlemen, there is no need to make it this difficult for us. We are perfectly happy to have one of you to just 0 out and then stop the battle.
Throw it in the
So,
wall.
Shay hard up onto Cormac's door. Then as he comes through this middle section, that looks like a straighten before the transition to me personally. As they come round and through.
Because it's the movement of the car. It looks like he has to reinitiate the car because you can see the sort of the roof bowl as he snaps it to right lock to then go left again.
So you don't think it was a straighten?
Oh, I think it was a straighten,
You think it was a straighten?
which means it's a one more time again somehow. It's a one more time again of incompetence.
Nobody's winning here.
Drifting is definitely not winning here, gentlemen.
They're
We
not
are-
actually drifting.
We are unhappy about how this is going. We want them to come round as fast as possible to start again. This
Did we
is...
put a rule in for Emily one more time?
We didn't.
Oh, Ben.
I know.
Personally, I don't think you need one. It's very rare that it's actually an issue.
Chris, do you want to go and tell them to stop being rubbish?
No, I wouldn't.
Well, I
use
crack
those
my
words
neck.
either.
So, Shay McCullough leads in Cormac Guard for the 3rd time tonight. Not because they've
some would
both
say
been doing amazing
3rd
driving,
time.
but because they have both been doing terrible driving. They are underway. This is OMT number 2.
The donkeys are being sucked.
They are. Absolutely. Proverbial and otherwise. As Shay McCullough goes for that big flick. Cormac Guard, a regular winner for us here at the Tsujigiri Drift Challenge, tries to keep up with him. Shay McCullough just has to do the same run as he did last time. On the way through that power alley, out onto the wall. This is looking nice as Shay McCullough puts it in a wall. Just as I say, all he's got to do is finish it out. And they're mating. The cars are mating. It's horrific. Everything is bad. I don't like it. Make it stop.
Just get to the friggin' line as fast as possible, please, and can we just have the second run?
Oh, if I don't laugh, I'll cry.
I'm uncomfortable. I'm so very uncomfortable.
It's just the levels of incompetence that are on display right now.
And that's ridiculous because they are two good drivers. Can Byron get the win? Can we just give a Byron win
I'm
here?
tempted to say that nobody wins this. They both lose and they should feel bad.
Yes.
So,
I agree with that.
Cormac Guard goes into the lead position. JSO Gaming, thank you for the follow. Welcome along. Let's see. Come on, guys. We just want a full pull here. This should not be this hard. As Cormac Guard leads in, Shay McCullough, not Jamie Healy. Jamie Healy went out earlier. Shay McCullough chasing in. Shay McCullough is now just driving. This could be it. This could be the chance for Cormac Guard to take the win. All he's on.
It's over. Yeah, it's over. Fine. Okay, so we can move on to the next battle and see if drifting can actually do a bit better out of that.
Oh, I'm uncomfortable. Everything about this is...
No, it's fine. It doesn't matter. Cormac gets the win next. Let's just move on.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that is how that's played out. We finally have a total failure by incompetence, and this time it has gone against Shay McCullough. Cormac Guard, our multi-time winner at Tsujigiri Drift Challenge, advances through simply by lieu of standing at the end of that many one more times. That is definitely a thing. Let's move on. Lots of mating in this round. Yep, lots of mating. It's not the one. It's not what we wanted to see. Didn't know this was Wreckfest. No, I agree with you, Envies. This is not okay. Let's move on, though. We've got past that battle. We now have Josh Oxley, the other member of Team Hot Boy, who is competing in ESDA with Joshua William Hartshorn. Team Josh Hot Boy are going to be going into ESDA this year, and Oxley is in the lead position to begin with here. They are under starters' orders. Josh Oxley to lead in Misho Tsujigiricollective. I hope I'm getting that right. If I'm getting it wrong, Misko, please let me know in the chat as soon as you can. Misho to chase in Josh. Josh Oxley in the lead position, known as Scorp. They are under starters' orders. S14
weather is doing weird things for stream.
What are you doing weird things for the stream for?
Your lighting conditions are like it's nighttime.
Yes, it's because it's turning into nighttime.
Whereas for me, it's middle of the day still.
Yeah.
Well,
same on mine.
They are under starters' orders. I did send a message to Anders, and I've accidentally pressed a button. Oh God, I've pressed a button.
You have not sent anything after Cormac. I just want to say, but I'll send them, Ben.
Oh, it's finger trouble, everybody. Finger trouble. Apparently my thumb did not fully press the button. We have it once every week. Let's hope that was the one. As Josh Oxley leads in Misho Tsujigiricollective. Here we go. Josh Oxley high up onto the bank. Misho in that chase position with that absolutely giant wing, trying to rein him in as they come through that first corner. Josh Oxley goes for the transition. It's a big transition. That's what caught out our last runner. Oh no, Josh Oxley's lost it. His little G25 that simply couldn't. As we come round, Misho driving out to the end of the track. Let's go back and watch that again. That was too much send.
I'll tell you what, it's possible we might actually get a battle before the end of the top 32.
I'm not sure.
Don't know.
Are you just banking on Craig being the one?
Well, at least one of those people in that battle, are gonna make 2 full runs most likely.
Well,
hopefully.
you've cursed him now. I just want it on the record. Yeah. That's not me. If Craig Fulgham ends up mounted somewhere.
No. I said most likely.
Well, Christopher, you're the one throwing
You're
the curse
putting some
around.
confidence in
Misho
me, though.
Tiscaridze is now in the lead position. They are ready. I am going to demonstrate to everyone that I have pressed go. There is nothing in the message window there. I have pressed go. They are under starters orders with Anders Unger down on the start line. Misho Tiscaridze leading in Josh Oxley. Josh got a lot to make up for there. Misho just has to finish off the run. Misho fires it in, gets nicely up onto the bank there. A little bit of a waver. He lifts out of the throttle midway round, allows Josh back in. But so far, Misho looking in control and just going to hold on to that. It's not going to be a good victory if he can round this corner out, but it is potentially going to be a victory. Josh Oxley looked all at sea there. Christopher Viltovsky, tell me your thoughts. Spin me a yarn. Tell me a tale.
Drifting loses, but there is still a winner. Next battle.
Could you tell me your winner, please?
Mr. Misho.
Okay.
I'm not trying to pronounce that last name. I'm too tired.
That's fair. The autocorrect tried to call him Mishap. Mishap Tiscaridze. But we're okay. So, sadly, out of those two, for me at least, because I have to continue to say his name without horribly insulting the poor guy, Misho Tiscaridze gets through to the top 16 to face Cormac Guard. This means we are on to the final 4 battles of our top 32. We have made it this far, folks. We only had to see Cormac and Shay go at it 3 times in order to get a winner there. But unfortunately for Josh Oxley, we didn't need anything like that number of times to rewatch that battle, as he goes straight out to Misho Tiscaridze. So, next up, this is how things are looking. If I just save this and put it up on your screens for you now while we load in the next load of battles. There is your bracket so far. We are looking on the left-hand side of the battle tree. Adam Lake versus Macaulay Smith going into the top 16. Zura Diasamidze versus Martinez Ostraka. Abdullah Abu Hussein versus Joshua William Hartshorn, who has broken his toe during the course of the evening. Vlad Zazulya versus Octavian Shelaru. On the other side, we have Wojciech Wawrika versus Ryan Sider. I'm excited for that battle. Those guys have driven together before. They are a very evenly matched pair. I'm looking forward to seeing it. And then Cormac Guard versus Misho Tiscaridze, and still to be decided in this top 32, our last 4 battles of the top 32. Alexander Jaeger versus Carter Cavalli, Ian Koenig versus Daryl Diaz, and Steve Smith versus Joventli Maurizia, and Craig Fulgham, last week's winner, versus Lewis Monks. Now, Craig has not got special treatment here. He is a sign-up from last week. The fact that he's at the end is purely by luck of the draw, courtesy of random.org. That's just how things worked out. We do a randomised top 32 at the moment. No qualifying. That is how we've got this battle tree. That is how things are shaping up. Hello.
There's 2 drivers who need, say, S14-1J.
Are they in the same battle together?
1 sec.
I know one's Ian Koenig. Who's the other?
He hath left to ask the drivers.
I don't even know what car I'm in. Don't press a button just in case. I'm in the 86. It's alright.
Yeah, I got it sorted, Ben. Don't worry.
Okay. Okay. Well, in that case, we are sorted. The next battle that you will be seeing is that Alexander Jaeger versus Carter Cavalli. That's what we've got coming up next. Chris and Chris, thoughts so far while we're waiting for these guys to load in?
Do you really want my thoughts?
I would like a socially acceptable version of your thoughts, please.
Impossible.
Unprobable.
Yeah, I'd like to change what I said earlier about there being winners and losers.
that they're just
Don't think
losers.
there's been any winners.
God.
So far, there's not been many battles that have really been battles.
It's starting to remind me of the top 64 we did, where the first 32 million battles were absolute crap.
Oh, that top 64 was a nightmare. I'm enjoying this. H-Ray, that S13 wing is bigger than my future. Yes, I know that feeling very well. Thank you very much.
Send the battle. Send the
Oh my
seriously.
God, Chris.
Come on, let's do the drifting. Let's get it over with.
Yeah.
Oh, they are ready. All right, fair enough. As they're on the
They're on
line,
the
let's get
line.
them
They're
underway.
just sat
Okay,
there
all
just-
right, I'm sending it. I'm sending it.
Send it, Ben.
Oh my God. Scranners wants to know if this is a layout with enough walls for you, Christopher. So we are seeing Alexander
I hate
Jaeger
them,
leading in Carter Cavalli. Alexander Jaeger right up on that bank. That Mustang, absolute rocket ship, firing through, going for this transition here. Look at that. He's not even on the screen at the same time, firing through. Out to that outside line. All the way through and across. That is Alexander Jaeger. All the way through
even
and
though he
across the
wasn't
line.
on the screen, that was possibly one of the better battles of the evening.
No, it wasn't.
They both did a lot.
There have been actual attempts at battles, whereas that was just
Yeah,
Alex
but they've
just
not
having
ended well.
more grip in his setup and just going bye-bye.
So that could be interesting when we turn them around. Can Alex go slow enough?
That is going to be a good question. That is what we're going to have to see in a second. As we line them back up, Alexander Jaeger is now going to be chasing in Carter Cavalli, who I need to find on... I'm assuming it's Viva. They are under starters orders. I have pressed the button. Here we go. Carter Cavalli to lead in Alexander Jaeger. Alex in that Mustang was looking super fired up, super quick in his lead run. Is he going to be able to stay in behind Carter Cavalli? There was a little bit of a wobble there on it. Look at Alexander Jaeger go firing up onto that side of Carter Cavalli as Carter drops down the bank. Alexander Jaeger doing everything he can to try and rein the car in without absolutely murdering the man he's chasing. Look at the closing speed there from Alexander Jaeger, somehow managing to keep that Mustang in check. And there's the first contact and across the line. Chris Viltovsky, I want to hear your opinion, I think, on that battle. Let's see.
Oh, and he murdered him as well after
I'm-
the line.
Almost convinced that the guy in lead was on the 300 treadways, you know.
Yeah, it did look like that, didn't it?
No, he is. I just checked on the on the F9. He is literally on the 300 treadways. Yeah.
Is that not
I mean, Alex takes the
disqualification
win,
anyway?
but literally that's why he was so slow, because he was still on the 300 treadways. Yeah, Alex takes the win for me. And that is also the perfect example of why I think that, this is why you don't give people tyre options. 'cause
No, the
it's-
300s will not be available in the next pack update.
There we are.
I mean,
we have a winner.
160s or death.
Right, so we have a winner, and it is Alex. I am sending that to Anders so that he knows that is who we have from there. Let's move on. Ian Koenig is saying that he has problems getting into the server. He's having problems with his car. Let's see.
5-minute rule, and then we move on to another battle, and if you can't get connected by the end of it, then it's Byron.
So, 5-minute rule.
Starting at 1 hour 54 minutes.
Hang on,
left
I'm going to
server.
start the timer. We're going to do it properly. That is a timer for 5 minutes, and it starts now.
Did you not introduce the 5 minutes from when you called, Ben?
Yeah, and Ian Koenig's just been called, so...
Ah, right.
A bit before you pull up.
Hello? What? There was a voice, and then there was silence.
There was an Anders, and then there wasn't an
It
Anders.
wafted in, and then wafted
No, I
away.
just wanted to hear what's with the 5-minute rule.
Oh, the 5-minute rule is
Ian
for
can't-
Ian
Ian
Koenig.
here.
He's messaged me saying that he can't get in because there's a problem with his data for his 14.
Well, yeah, he's got
Cheers.
5 minutes. Next battle.
Just let me know whenever to send them then.
Okay, do you want to just bring
get
the
the
next
next battle lined up,
bring the
just
next
go,
battle
just
in?
go,
Yeah, yeah.
just go,
So we'll
go.
move straight on, and the next
Okay.
battle is between Steve Smith and Juventli Maurizia. Let's get those guys lined up. Steve to lead in first. Steve
Yep.
Smith. And I will let Anders know when we are at the end of the 5 minutes. Ian has 4 minutes remaining to get into the server and be ready. Let's see how this goes. Steve Smith.
New livery.
Sorry, go on.
Is he on another new livery?
Steve is on the Nightmare Before Drift on the stream. I've managed to get it up to date. So Steve is on the Nightmare Before Driftmas livery, moved across to the 2JZ. That is the acid trip livery that he created. It is certainly a thing. It is definitely a thing. So Steve Smith leading in Juventli Maurizia. Let's get them under starters orders. They are ready now, and that is Adam Boy 8400. Thank you for the follow. Welcome along. Here we go. Steve Smith off the line in that GT86, firing down. It is night time now here at the Irwindale layout for these guys on track. Steve Smith absolutely hooked up. Look at Juventli Maurizia is not even in the battle as Steve Smith has finally got that 2J working for him. A little bit early away from the wall there, but we'll have to see whether Chris think that's early enough to have accounted for this absolutely massive gap as he gets onto that inside line a little bit and then slots out to the wall. Juventli Maurizia not fulfilling the jobs of a chase driver here so far at all. Let's watch the replay. Chris.
Steve's lead line wasn't perfect either. He came off of outside zone 2 well early. Well early.
Was it enough to
Okay,
account for that
thank
massive gap though? And if Juventli had been anywhere near him through that corner, would he not have also angled up at that point and got down onto him?
Probably, but it's still a chasing error. It's still a leading error. I mean, Maurizia just gets drag raced off the line and just didn't expect Steve to be that fast, and it just, yeah, he just didn't expect Steve to be fast, and he was, and Maurizia gets the entry wrong, and from there it's all bad. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still 6-4 to lead because of the fact that Maurizia just doesn't manage to get himself back into the fight. Admittedly, that is just one of the issues with this layout.
That is true. They are under starters
not
orders.
anywhere.
Let's see what happens in this next battle. Steve jumping the line, doesn't want Maurizia getting away from him. Juventli Maurizia absolutely off the line in that commanding lead position, and this time Steve wobbles on the initiation as Maurizia gets hooked up, manages to run that full outside line as Steve's getting back into the battle, closes up, but then drops away again. That's a huge amount of angle from Juventli Maurizia coming into that inside clip at 2. Steve is back in the battle though, absolutely hooked up and onto that rear quarter, comes diving through. Is he going to be able to reel him in again as they come across the line? No, he's not on that infield section. Maurizia Juventli absolutely gets it nailed. Here we go. Let's see it again.
So much better lead run.
Yeah, but it was so much better of a chase run as well.
Yeah.
For me, it's Steve.
I think it might be for me as well, you know.
The wobble in the lead was minor. It would have caused an issue if he'd have had a chase car right behind him, but he didn't. So for me, it's not really a massive issue.
I mean, that
Now,
was.
I'm going to be contrarian here, and I'm going to say one more time because by the end of the run, Maurizia does catch up. But the thing you've got to remember about Irwindale is that there's the only place you can make a dive to catch up is coming into that second turn, which only works if the lead car is fulfilling their job of being out on the outside line, which Steve wasn't, which means Maurizia has nowhere to really catch up except driving super hard into the last inside. And then he does kind of make the gap up there.
Chase.
Whereas on the reverse of this, Maurizia has a really, really good lead line, gets out super deep into the wall, like from the beginning all the way out, like around the whole turn 1 is on the wall. Then transitions again deep into the second outer as well. And like, yeah, okay, Steve has a better chase, but Maurizia has a much better lead that enables that chase. So
here's one for you that I think
Steve wins one more time.
Bot Clips has followed. Hello. the thing for me there is we were talking about that massive angle through clip 2 from a couple of battles back with Cormac and Shay. If Stee had gone for the send through that transition into clip 2, Mauritia's angle through there would have absolutely choked Stee up because he slowed down massively. It's only because Stee had backed off to not do the send until he came into clip 3 that looked to me like that was sort of a slightly acceptable amount of angle if we watch it on the replay.
But Mauricia doesn't lose speed there, and he's not on as much angle as Shay was. He's on fairly large angle there, yeah, but he's not losing momentum, and it's a very, very smooth transition. What Shay did was he threw a lot more angle than that at it, and he backed off power.
Yeah,
Mauritia's flat throttle the entire time.
You're right, that was actually quite smooth. I think that is a one more time. I agree.
Yeah, it's still Steve for me.
Okay, so 2-1. Stee won it in the eyes of Chris Ennis, but I think, as Scranners has said here on the chat, better chase by Steve, better lead by the other guy. Yeah, I think so. Chase to chase, lead to lead. I think that was swings and roundabouts. It went backwards and forwards between the two. So we're going to send him again. So Steve Smith has to do all that work again. Let's see. Can he get another good lead down?
Well, no. Can he get a good lead?
Oh, Chris.
Well, that's what made it.
I know.
Steve had a bad lead.
You're just so brutal. There's just no effort to even mildly build up people's confidence slowly. It's both wonderful and also horrifying to the instructor in me.
I mean, hi. I like judging.
I know. Here we go. They are back underway. Steve Smith goes for the flick initiation. Giovanni Maurizia is this time with him on that initiation, but drops back through that first corner. Steve fills that outer zone this time. That's going to make Chris Viltovsky much happier, but it's allowed Giovanni Maurizia much further in. And this time Steve cuts it harder into clip 2, but stays on the throttle, bounces a little bit out of that corner as he clips the wall a little bit there, and is now down through into that infield section. Let's have a look at that again.
I like the way Steve got the spoiler through the wall.
Yeah. Dion is now saying this is why we don't let Chris on stream.
That's false, Dion. We do let me on stream when I'm making a call and I'm putting my professional voice on.
Yeah, but generic Chris, unedited Chris, never makes it onto stream.
On the Friday night. After beer? Have you had beer, Chris?
No.
Right, they are back on the line. Giovanni
I mean,
Maurizia.
I could try and put like professional on-stream voice on, but that would be very tiring for me to do that the entire time.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. We'll allow it. We're just going to get them underway. This is Giovanni Maurizia versus Steve Smith. The second part of the one more time battle as Steve has thrown it away. Steve went way too aggressive on the flick. The unnecessary flick in the chase position. You just don't need to do that in the chase to slot in onto the wall. And Maurizia drives away. Steve has gone angry, full ham, and puts it in the wall again. That is not what we thought was going to happen with this battle. This is all over, surely. Chris Ennis, tell me a tale, spin me a yarn. What did you see?
I saw Steve put it in the wall, unfortunately.
Right at the beginning.
Yes.
That was Steve Smith channeling his inner Rad Dan Burkett fully there.
You leave Dan alone. He's a very nice man.
I've never said otherwise. Yeah, for me,
he does have a fetish for walls.
He does have a fetish for walls. Like, if Rad Dan Burkett ever had to encounter anyone in the virtual world who would be the description of his nemesis, it's you, Chris Viltovsky, master of the wall.
Well.
And corn fuckery.
And there we go. We managed to not get demonetised for 2 hours and 10 minutes. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah. No.
As a random aside, though, Ben, are you on the latest Soul and CSP version?
Yes.
Doesn't look like it with the way the cars are looking at night on your stream.
Either way, unrelevant right this second. I will check it later, but right now that is Giovanni Maurizia advancing by default, sadly, after that one more time, knocking out Steve Smith, who was looking really strong up until then. And Gene Bomber 369, thank you for the follow. Welcome along.
is a buy run for whomever was going to battle Ian, because Ian's still not here and he's now had 10 minutes.
Is
so
now a buy
we'll
run.
just say the hell with it. Let's just move on and have the last battle of the 32.
So Daryl Diaz advances by default, as long as Ian is not there.
Ian's not here. He's not in the server, so
yeah, so he's therefore not here.
So he has missed his 5-minute rule. That is Daryl Diaz advancing, knocking out Ian Koenig. Ian's going to be having words with me later about that because he's going to wonder why the car suddenly stopped working. Never mind. Let's see what happens now. It is last week's winner, Craig Fulgham, versus Lewis Monks, to see who advances through. Craig was looking fast in practice. Every single time we saw him do a run, he was railing it to the door of the guy in front. He was looking really strong. It was a pleasure to watch. Lewis Monks, I didn't get to see during practice, so I don't know how he's been looking. He's in a 13.5. Those cars have been fast this evening. Is it going to be fast enough to stop the march of Craig Fulgham through to the top 16? That is what we don't know. And that is right, Craig. Chris already gave you the commentator's curse, and I'm throwing some more around just for my own amusement. So there you go. You can have all of it. Who do you think is going to win this one, Chris? Either of you?
The wall. No, you've said that.
The wall. Here we go. They are lined up and ready.
Another victim.
Chris Viltovsky's fetish for walls going to be fulfilled as Craig Fulgham absolutely launches off the line. Lewis Monk's nowhere to be seen as they get going through here. He had the chance to leave that start line early, and he's finally managing to reel in the man in the RPS 13, the Stefan Stefanov replica. Stefan had an incident with a wall while we're talking of walls last week at UKDC, but this time Craig is absolutely pinpoint accurate all the way through that run and across the line. Let's see the replay for that, chaps. Can I hear clapping in the background?
Was that Chris Ennis doing a sarcastic clap?
No, that wasn't. That was a genuine clap. That is the nicest run I've seen all evening.
I mean, yeah, like that's probable. That'll be the lead run Craig does pretty much all event.
Well, then he's going to be looking pretty strong all event. Craig's lead is stunning. Dion has got a raging chubby. That's what he's not telling us in the second part of that message, but that's what we're all assuming. So,
I mean,
Lewis...
he is in bed, so yeah, deal with that information as you will.
Well, now I've got a raging chubby. Let's see what's going to happen in the second half of this battle as Lewis Monks leads in Craig Fulgham. Craig's lead run was absolutely pinpoint accurate. They are under starters orders. There we go. Lewis Monks off the line. Is Craig going to be able to rein in that 2J RPS 13 in the chase position? Lick of flame firing up the back of that car as he surges up onto the door. That's a much better line from Lewis Monks than we saw when he was in the chase position. Is Craig going to be able to stick with him into this D-cell zone? Yes, he is. Another lick of flame there as Lewis gets it into the wall. Irwindale claiming another victim using the wall. I can hear Chris Viltovsky's giggle of glee as he watches another person fall victim to some concrete. That is what he likes to see.
That's false. I don't like to see people destroying their cars. I like to see people getting it right and like running the wall and rubbing it as if it is a thing that I was going to say, and then I realised this is a live stream, so I won't say the finishing part of that sentence.
I did like the way Craig kept well in it when he put it in the wall as well, and
sort of left foot brake and just like, he'll get out of the wall eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Craig takes the win. That's now the top 16. Let's go.
Well, Ian has just messaged me saying he was joining as the buy run was called, so he might have been waiting to do that buy run, to do that run until the track was clear. The server was clear. He was joining the server, so
wasn't on the server.
No, but we also no, but hang on. We've also specifically said that people should not join the server while battles are underway in order to prevent lag spikes. So if Daryl Diaz is on the server, we should see that battle. I'm going to bring Anders.
Can you promise it's going to be a good battle?
I can't promise anything, but we should give him the chance if our rules stopped him. if Ian was joining and then we caused that because our rules blocked him. Live Fast raided with a party of 17. Hello, Live Fast and all of your 17 people. Thank you for coming along. You join us just as we're trying to work out what's happening with this last battle. If Ian is ready to go, Ian and Daryl onto the server. This is what we want to see. We do actually want to see a battle. Daryl Diaz is pulling out of the pits. Ian?
Ben, you said that he advances by Byron.
Yes, but what we've just said, I've just had a message from Ian saying that the reason he wasn't on the server is because he didn't join whilst battles were going. So actually our own rule blocked him from joining when he should have joined.
Yeah, so okay.
So let's see it. So that is what we've got. They are up to the line already. We don't know if Daryl has got this. We're going to go back and see it. What might happen, though, what has happened so many times in the past, is that Ian Koenig has forgotten to put his setup onto the car. So
wait. I just gotta know what happened to the Craig and Lewis battle then.
Craig won.
Craig won.
Okay, thank you.
I thought I'd sent it. No, everything got complex.
No, you didn't.
All right, that's my fault.
Bad then.
Yeah, that was the snarkiest I've ever heard, Anders.
No.
Yes.
No. We're not complaining, Anders. We enjoy it.
Yes.
No, see, the reason why I figured that he advanced by Byron was because what Ian just said, like he took his sweet time just practicing. Because I did tell him earlier he could connect.
All right, that's not how he told it. But we're here now. Let's just get it going.
Yeah.
Ian Koenig, don't you lie to me. I don't like it. I don't
feel
want it.
like
I don't
there is-
appreciate it.
Which, I mean, the other thing is that he should have been on the server by 22:59 my time, and he wasn't.
We're here now. We're going to get the battle. We're going to have a full top 32. Let's see this. It might not change anything. Ian Koenig to lead in. Daryl Diaz. This is our very final battle of the top 32, and then we can move on. Ian Koenig in that S14. In the run fast delivery, out on that outside line, flicking it in. Daryl Diaz trying to keep up onto that outside line as well as Ian gets a very serious wobble coming through that outside section. Now down into the transition. Big angle from Ian Koenig and he spun it. That is going to be the end of that run as we see it.
Ian's not loaded his setup because he's on the 200 tyres.
Ian Koenig. Let's see it. Oh, we've got the perfect number of viewers at 69. 69 dudes. And it probably is 69 dudes as well.
The general statistics from the various social media streams that I have information access to, yes, majority do.
I think there is no doubt in anyone's mind that Ian was at fault there. It looks like Daryl Diaz is going to get through as things stand anyway. All he's got to do is round out this run. He's just got to make it through, and then we have a full top 16 as Ian Koenig potentially takes himself out of competition in that S14. Look at Daryl hooking it up off the line. That is a lovely high line from the 13.5. That RB28 singing away as he gets all the way around that wall. That's one of the better lines that we've seen. Oh, and there was no need for that. There was just no need for that. Let's see that on the replay. I do want to see, just to be on the safe side, whether that was excessive slowing.
No, it was...
Ian just speared.
I can't say that on the stream.
Yeah.
It was... Yes.
Ian decided that he wished to make sweet, sweet love against the lead car's will.
Okay.
That's... Yes. That is what I wanted to say. Yes.
Here we go. This is the moment we see it. So we see that transition. Oh, there is a big lift. That is actually a lift in the lead position.
Look at Ian. Jake's like, come on. Ian is
finally picked up speed. He didn't want to
driving.
lose it.
Yeah, he is literally driving into the man.
That may not be
okay,
relevant
yeah, sure.
if it's off throttle in a full throttle zone.
Oh, you're going to watch the replay.
I would accept that if Ian was even in drift at the time.
Let's have a look. I'm watching it one more time, just a little bit closer.
Literally, Ian isn't even in drift at the time.
Oh no!
Ian's
All right.
driving.
Yeah. He's actually driving. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
If he was in slip angle, maybe, but no.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Can't be driving.
Everyone's going full Kiwi. That was a classic yeah nah from Chris Ennis, and that means that we have a full top 32 whittled down to a full top 16, and it looks like this for all of you at home. Let's have a quick look at our bracket. We now know how things are going to shape up going through into our top 16, and this is how it looks. That is Adam Lake versus Macaulay Smith, Zura Diasamidze versus Martina Sestreka, Abdullah Abu Hussein versus Joshua William Hartshorn, Vlad Zazulia versus Octavian Shelaru. On the other side of the bracket, Wojciech Babrika taking on Ryan Sider, Cormac Guard taking on Misho Tiskaridze, and then Alexander Jaeger versus Daryl Diaz, Shulventli Maurizia versus Craig Fulgham. That is your top 16. Anders will be calling them up to the start line right now. We are going to take you across to a 1-minute break while Chris goes and gets more donuts and I run to the toilet after the 2 pints of coffee that I've consumed.
I don't have any more donuts.
We will be right back straight away into our top 16 after these short messages. And for those of you who didn't end up going to messages because you're on different streaming platforms, you could just sit there and enjoy the silence.
The sound of silence.
So that is it. We are back and getting ready. Let's get straight into our top 16. Thank you for your patience, everybody. We are starting off with Adam Lake versus Macaulay Smith. That is where we're at. Oh, wow. Gentlemen, your thoughts so far?
Meh.
Meh, meh, meh. Everything is meh.
I mean, I may have to start drinking to try and
to numb the pain. Adam Lake versus Macaulay Smith. These two are stand-in drivers called up at late notice because of other dropouts. Adam Lake leading us in. Macaulay Smith in the 13.5, chasing in that big Mustang in the Umbrella Motorsports livery. Previously the Callum Craddy livery, but he has now dropped out of competition completely. He sold all of his rig. That is a lovely line from both guys. This is one of the better battles that we've seen so far, as Macaulay absolutely sends it up with great angle, but there's a huge steering correction as he comes up onto that outside line. Adam Lake getting fired in through that inside field section there as we start to come through and across the line. That is actually not a bad way for us to start off our top 16. It was all right.
I mean, turn one wasn't brilliant from Chase, so it was all right. In fact, turn two wasn't great from Chase either until about halfway around.
It was a big send to try and get the proximity as he came in out onto clip 3, then having that bit of a wobble.
It was a good lead. We'll give him that.
It was a good lead. We're accepting that. That is high praise from Chris. Right now, they are back lined up. Adam Lake to chase in this time. Macaulay Smith is leading. This is for a position in the Great 8. They are under starters orders. Let's see the second half of this battle. Our first battle in our top 16. Let's go. Let's get these guys underway. Come on. Anders has them under starters orders. Yes, just had to double check, and here we are. That was Macaulay Smith leading in Adam Lake. Adam Lake jumping that, starting that Mustang. He doesn't really need to do that. We know that car is incredibly fast off the line on the run-in, but look at that gap opening up. Macaulay Smith in that lead position, having a bit of a wobble as he comes around the wall. Adam Lake trying to surge up, drops a wheel over the inside edge at 2, and surges up onto the door at 3. That's going to be crucial. If he doesn't have the wobble here, is he going to be able to make sure that he stamps his authority over this battle as Macaulay Smith runs wide through 4, misses 4 completely. And let's see that one more time on the replay. Chris Ennis. Chris Viltovsky. Thoughts, please.
Lead to lead. Adam Lake does the better job. Chase to chase. Adam Lake does the better overall job as he has better proximity throughout the whole run, despite the fact that the lead in front of him is as good a lead to chase.
Yeah, that.
Yes Man has returned. So what's the verdict, please? Chris Ennis. Chris Viltovsky.
For me, it is Macaulay.
Macaulay in the red S13.5.
Sorry, not Adam.
Adam Lake. Adam Lake from Chris Ennis. Adam Lake from Chris Viltovsky. And that is Adam Lake from me as well. That is unanimous. Adam Lake advances through to the top. To the Great 8. We're in the top 16 now. So, who will he face? Zura Deasimidze or Martinus Ostraker? That is the question. Mr. Deasimidze is going to be leading in first. Zura Deasimidze is our first leader from this battle. Martinus Ostraker in the chase position. So this is that massively bewinged PS13 of Zura Deasimidze versus another Mustang. Could we get an all Mustang Great 8 in the first battle of the Great 8? Martinus Ostraker versus Adam Lake, that's the question. Or will Zura Deasimidze in that PS13 with the upturned jumbo jet wing on the back make the difference? They are under starters orders. Let's get them underway. Zura Deasimidze to lead in. As we come through that line, it is Martinus Ostraker in the chase position in the Mustang, going for a big flick right up on the door of Zura Deasimidze. Martinus Ostraker trying to reel him back in. That's not a bad line from Zura as he comes away a little bit early from the bank, just as our commentators curse him. This is the transition. That Mustang's very fast into the D-cells. It carries so much speed, but oh, was there contact there? Was that contact from the chase pushing Zura into the wall, or was that all by himself? Let's have a look.
There was contact. I think it might have been from lag from the lead there.
Let's have a look. This is going to be a crucial one for the decision here, potentially. Let's see as they come through on the replay that I'm watching right now. Coming firing down in through that inside line. Clip 2, then into clip 3. Zuradai Samidzi gets into the wall first on my screen.
He lags as well, because then if you look at the very end where there's contact, there's not. It's just the lead connection lets him down.
Okay.
Though this is one of those where that pole is now becoming really in the way.
Really in the way. I might try and see if I can find a camera that gives us a little bit of a better view, as we are now going to see Martinez Ostraka lead in. Martinez Ostraka, they are under starters orders. Zuradai Samidzi in the chase position. Martinez Ostraka in the lead in that big, powerful Mustang with its V8. 2 V8 powered cars, but that Mustang just seems to have so much traction on the run-in. Huge flick, and Zuradai Samidzi absolutely sends it up the inside. Gets it all wrong, and they're mating. They're mating on the wall. It makes me uncomfortable every single time that happens. That was so much send in the chase position. Let's have a look at that again.
Certainly one.
Something was done.
Wow. Them are dope. Mustang did hit him. Yeah, we can see the contact, but it looks like it was after the impact with the wall first. Wentad, thank you for the follow. Patrick Joseph Ramirez, thank you for the follow. That is awful to watch. That is so much contact in that first corner. Zura absolutely sent it into the side of the Mustang.
Marcinas takes that.
What was that, sorry?
Marcinas takes that for me. I don't think he's at fault for the first run, and then for the second run, there's no way he's at fault for that.
No. So we're saying Chris Viltovsky, your winner. Martinas. Chris Ennis, your winner. Martinas. That is unanimous. Martinez Ostraka. Which my phone has decided should autocorrect to Marty's ass as I send it to Anders. Marty's ass advances through into the Great 8 to take on Adam Lake. Martinez Ostraka will take on Adam Lake. That is the first part of our Great 8 all decided there. Next up, Abdullah Abu Hussein taking on Joshua William Hartshorn. Abdullah Abu Hussein to lead in first. Now, Joshua William Hartshorn told us earlier that he has broken his toe somehow during the course of the evening. Now, I don't know how. He hasn't told us how. He's just done a thing of some kind of weirdness. So he's driving with what he believes is a broken toe. Apparently it's all strapped up. He's ready to go. It could be interesting.
So, what we're learning about Joshua William Hartshorn is that this is a man who can strap himself up at a moment's notice.
He's always strapping. You know, he's always strapped. He's ready to go. This is.
So some would say he is a strapping young lad.
Which
is, incidentally, no, that is a very good extreme death metal band.
Strapping young lad.
Yes.
I mean, they don't sound like a death metal band, do they? With that name, I kind of love it.
They are.
I'm sure they are. I wasn't disputing
it. If anyone's stream that's interested, I can recommend you go look up the song by a strapping young lad called Love.
Okay, we can all look forward to that. But first, we've got to look forward to some kind of battle here as Abdullah Abu Hussein is being chased by Joshua William Hartshorn, who's having to work really hard in that chase position to keep behind the car of Abdullah Abu Hussein. Look at that S14 surge forward onto the quarter. Every time that Joshua puts his foot down, that car seems to absolutely launch its way up onto that quarter. Let's have a look at the replay. There was definitely some wavering in that lead position and in that chase position round turn 1. Let's have a look.
Yeah, the lead line's not the best.
It's quite a long way down the bank through the first half of turn 1.
And then he's not sure out on the second half either.
Here we go, coming into that outer zone, out of 2 and into 3. He's high and wide on it to begin with, but then drops inside, and it starts to cause a waver for Josh as they come through there, round and across the line. So now, Joshua William Hartshorn in the lead position. Is he going to be able to knock out last week's number 4 placing driver in Abdullah Abu Hussein in that S13.5? It's one of the times Abdullah has been with us twice now on banked tracks. They're not really his forte. He's been looking much stronger on the smaller, tighter, more technical tracks. As Abdullah Abu Hussein gets massive understeer on initiation, Joshua William Hartshorn doesn't make it all the way up to the wall, but it looks like it might not matter in that lead position. He is going to carry on through. We say the first 0 is the end of the run, and it's a good thing too, as Joshua decides that everything he needs to be more scrappy as he goes through the remainder of that run. But I think that's all over in the first corner. Let's have a look. Quite. Look at Abdullah Abu Hussein just grab a boot full of understeer straight up into the bank at Irwindale. It just sucks him in and drags him through that first section. After that, it's all Joshua, although he gets a wobble of understeer going into clip 2. He probably won't have seen Abdullah Abu Hussein losing it in control in that first corner. So Joshua right now is probably thinking that that is all over for him from the second half of that run. But it's not. My vote is for Joshua William Hartshorn. Chris Ennis. Joshua and Chris Viltovsky. That is unanimous by default, sadly, despite that wave in the lead position coming into turn 2. Joshua William Hartshorn advances to the Great 8 for the first time in our competition. Who will he be facing? Is it Vlad Zazulya or Octavian Shelaru? That is our next battle. Vlad Zazulya to lead in first, Octavian Shelaru. Octav been driving really nicely over the last few weeks, but Vlad Zazulya, I don't know, he's driving very well. He's certainly been doing some interesting things this evening so far. Let's see how he's going to hold up against Octav, who has been driving brilliantly for the last year. As Chris keeps on hyping him up to me.
Who?
Octav.
What? I've not been hyping him up. He's been doing better throughout the VDC season. I wouldn't say I've been hyping him up.
For you, any note of enthusiasm is the hype game in full force.
Is it?
Isn't it?
Not really. I just commented that he has improved throughout the VDC season.
Well, that's good enough. Let's see if he can take down Vlad Zazulya. And Josh has now bent his thumb in the wrong direction as well. So Joshua Hartshorn has decided that he's going to win by self-mutilation. That's an interesting tactic. As Vlad Zazulya leads in, Octavian Shelaru coming through this first corner. Vlad nice and high on the bank, but not all the way up to the wall there. But Octav managing to deal with it as they come through. This transition crucial. Is he going to be able to reel him back in? Yes, he is. As Vlad Zazulya nicely fills out a zone 3. Octav having a bit of a waver, surging up onto the door again as they come through there. Down and across and over the line. Was that a spin before the line almost? Let's have a look at that on the replay. Almost.
It was just a lot of angle for the line to not hit the lead. Well, not hit the lead harder. Irrespective, I'd still give it his advantage chase. It's aggressive and he's making errors from being over-aggressive, but I'd rather see people being over-aggressive and making errors as opposed to just not being on the door. Although,
I think if
something a bit weird there.
If Vlad hadn't had that little waver coming through into the last section, I think I possibly would have given a slight advantage to lead. But as it is, me personally, I'm sat on pretty much a 5-5 after that because of the weirdness in the chase position. It doesn't matter. We're going into the second half of the battle. It can all change. We can get a definite winner from this. OTM Bandit, thank you for the follow. Let's have a look at this battle as they get off the line. This is Octavian Shelaru and Vlad Zazulya firing through. Vlad Zazulya manages to hook it up. Octavian Shelaru not as high as I was expecting from him in that first section there. Coming through onto the transition. Oh, that's a beautiful transition from Vlad Zazulya. Tucks right up under his bumper. Manages to hold it. Oh, and there's contact as Octav angles up coming into the end of clip 3. There is contact. Let's watch that again. Here we go. This is going to be crucial. We see this amazing transition from Vlad Zazulya. Beautifully lines it up. Octav out on the throttle there, round the wall. Does he slow down as he angles up? I don't know if he does.
The thing is, though, but the thing is, though, that you do have to lose speed there by angling up to get the car off of the wall.
Yep.
And Vlad is undercutting his line at that point and literally hits Octav in the front wheel, which if this was real life, that would have been real bad.
That would have been a really nasty hit. Gun flips, thank you for the follow.
There's no way for me that can be considered lead error, because if the lead doesn't angle up there, they are not getting to that inside clip.
No, absolutely, I agree with that.
Yeah, which is a shame, because
the rest of the chase was
beautiful
full
transition, but he just didn't account for the fact that there is an inner clip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just watching that again on the replay just to see if there was anything that was an excessive decel there, and it looks to me like that is just the normal angle up. Yep, and that is sad. That is going to be it. That's all she wrote, because I suspect we're going to now have a unanimous verdict in just one direction. Gentlemen, your winner, please.
Octav.
Chris Ennis.
Yeah. Octav.
And that is 3. Octavian Chelaru advances from the mistake from Vlad Zazulya, and that is a real shame, because we saw a fantastic chase run up until that point. Vlad Zazulya absolutely stamping his authority all over that chase until that mistake. And that means we have the first half of our Great 8 is now all decided. We have got them set up there, and it looks like this. Whilst we get the remaining 8 onto the server for the other half of the top 16, this is how things are looking. We have...
we've still got the Wojciech and Ryan battle.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying we've only got half of the Great 8 sorted. Adam Lake versus Martinez Ostreka, and Joshua William Hartshorn versus Octavian Chelaru. That's the left-hand side of the Great 8 all sorted. On the right-hand side of the top 16, we have Wojciech Wawrika versus Ryan Sider. That's next. Cormac Gard versus Misho Tsiskaridze. That's the battle afterwards. Alexander Jaeger versus Daryl Diaz, and then Chaventli Maurizia versus Craig Fulgham. That is what's coming up next. Let's get straight back into the action as soon as these guys are ready. It is Wojciech Wawrika versus Ryan Sider. That is our first battle. They are lined up on the start, ready to go. I know there's still guys loading in, so I'm putting them under starters orders. They are now under control with Anders Unger down on the start line, our start line marshal and general driver wrangler. Ryan Sider chasing in. Wojciech Wawrika, Wojciech off the line, Ryan Sider in the chase position. Ryan Sider is going to go for that big dive up onto the door as Wojciech Wawrika is there. Ryan has a wobble trying to keep everything in check. That was incredibly slow from Wojciech Wawrika around that first section. That was almost unchaseably slow round there. What is going on? Let's have a look at that on the replay. Chris, how does that look to you as we get underway again?
Crap. What? I mean,
what?
Not crap.
Ideal. Yeah, not. I don't know whether it was.
I don't think the lead ever really got into it. He was just so weak on the bank for no reason. Well, I just don't really think that there's much more that Ryan could have done.
Was that what we would consider, as per the rules earlier, was that unchaseable?
Personally, I feel it's.
I'm going to throw this back up. So, at the lead driver, the run must be as close as possible to a perfect line, as per driver briefing. But the second rule there must ensure that the run is easy to chase. That is literally a rule that we highlight at the beginning of every event. Do we think that that rule that was easy to chase?
No, because as he literally loses angle, bobbles, loses speed, and then just after that point, that's when he gets hit.
Yep, I agree. I'm putting them under starters orders. It is Ryan Sider in the lead position this time. Ryan Sider in that big Mustang with all of that speed. He gets absolutely straight off the line, nice and fast there, hooks it up onto the wall. Oh, look at that surge in the chase position. That is not looking stable at all from Wojciech Wawrika. This is not the kind of driving that we've expected from him over the course of the last few weeks, as Ryan gets into the wall all by himself but manages to bounce it out. That is not going to affect the chase line. Ryan Sider, zeros all by himself. What was that? Let's watch that again. This is not the battle that we were expecting to see.
One more time. You don't need to watch it again.
No, whilst we get them back round to the start, I'm going to let you guys at home watch it. That is just a shower of zeros from everyone. Gun flips, I didn't mention you. Thank you for the follow. Well, I mean, I don't know what we're looking at here, but it's certainly not good drifting. Everyone is experiencing just condensed misery in this particular instance.
Can I just say that if this keeps up, this is so far doing absolutely nothing to me endeared toward Irwindale.
No, I think that's fair.
Ryan is asking why it's one more time.
Okay, because he independently zeroed into the wall on his second run.
Drove off on the second run for no reason. I mean,
all right.
Is he fucking serious?
I don't know. I'll go ask.
I'm going to watch that again, just to make absolutely certain that we didn't miss something glaringly obvious.
No, you got to the end of the wall and Ryan just turns right. Like.
Ask him if he needs a sat nav.
Okay, so he makes contact with the wall there and then straightens, and there is no contact at the point where he pulls out. No, that was all Ryan, all by himself. I'm going to put them under starters orders. Let's get on with this. We don't want this one hanging around, especially if Ryan's in the middle of some kind of breakdown. So, Wojciech Wawrzyka in the lead position first of all. Ryan Sider to chase. They're under starters orders. Let's get this one underway. Whatever weirdness was just happening, we don't want to see it again. Let's get them going. Wojciech Wawrzyka in the lead. Hooked up into that section. Ryan struggling again in that chase position as Wojciech does that weird line. He's very, very slow around the bank when he's in the lead there. Nicely hooked up as he comes in. Throws it up against the wall there. Coming round. Locked in now onto that outside line. Ryan not getting the car hooked up. Wojciech Wawrzyka surging forward there. That's a much better line from both drivers, but it's still not the kind of level of battle that we were expecting to see. Wojciech Wawrzyka.
I'd still give that as a heavy chase advantage because Wojciech was not the best on the bank.
I don't know. I mean, it's in clip 3. Right. He's nowhere near the wall in the first section. Sorry, Chris, I'm talking over you. Go on.
His line's perfect round the bank. He's just slow.
His line might be. It's not though, because he comes off the bank about halfway round. Because he has a big angle correction about halfway around the bank that causes him to slow up more and also lose proximity with the wall. He's also not actually that tight to the wall from the start. It's not a perfect bank line at all.
It's hard to chase if they're not absolutely locked in on the wall. The thing with Irwindale that people have to understand if they've not driven it at home, it is very hard to chase. I put them under starters orders while we discuss this, but it is a very difficult place to chase if the lead is not absolutely railed to the top line all the way around that wall, as Ryan is doing right there. That's a much better lead line from Ryan round that first section. This transition is going to be crucial. Is he able to hold it together as he goes in onto the wall? Drives away from that section, nicely hooked up this time, not making contact with the wall and angles up, but look at Wojciech Wawrzyka finally getting into this battle properly. If he's got that much speed in the car, the question has to be, why is he so slow round the bank in the lead position? Let's have a look at that second half of that battle.
Ryan takes the win from me. Much better lead, much more chaseable, much more consistent line, doesn't have any big, weird, like, bobbles in the lead.
And just as we were watching it on the replay there, Wojciech Wawrzyka leaves that huge gap and then halfway round the bank in turn 1, straightens up a tiny bit, takes some of the angle out and absolutely shoots forward onto Ryan's door. But it is a very late push just at the end to try and get back into things. Chris Ennis, your winner.
Yeah, I think over the 2 runs, Ryan was slightly better.
Chris Viltovsky?
Yeah, Ryan takes the win from me, as I said. He actually had a much more chaseable lead overall. Therefore, takes the win.
He did wobble round 3. which is where Wojciech actually pushed onto him. Which
yeah,
was
and really got
brave,
back in the battle.
Yeah.
But there we go. That is Ryan Sider through to the Great Eight. I understand now someone has mentioned to me that the reason he's not sure why it went one more time is because he didn't understand how it was not him at fault in the first battle. But we have said very clearly on the stream that in the very first battle, the first run of the first battle, that Wojciech Wawrika was not a chaseable lead through the first part of that corner, and that's how it went one more time. And this time round, it was still not a great lead in that section. Ryan able to do the best he could with it, but Ryan's lead was much, much better in that second half of that run, which allowed Wojciech to do a better chase. So that's what we saw. It is now Cormac Guard to lead in Misho Tsiskaridze. Let's see how this plays out. Cormac Guard in the 13.5. Misho Tsiskaridze in the V8 PS13. Sorry, Chris.
Is it possible that Cormac has enough fuel?
Yeah, after that first battle that we saw where Cormac forced a one more time by running out of fuel before the end of the run. Here we go. Cormac Guard leading in Misho Tsiskaridze. Here we are. Cormac going for that big flick. That V8 PS13 one almost straight line initiation from Misho, who then gets the grip back together and goes surging into the side of Cormac Guard. That is a nasty hit. We would not be wanting to see that if that were a real competition. Cormac Guard rounds off the run. He's going all the way round to finish that off. We're going to save that replay a little bit early so that we do get to see that hit again, just to see if there was anything really obvious that we didn't see as Cormac hits the line, spins out across the finish. But here's what we wanted to see. This is the battle as Cormac fires it in. Misho in the chase position, very, very straight, grips up and then surges forward. But was Cormac off throttle there, or was that my imagination?
The chase understeers and flies into him. Like,
Yeah.
you can't do that.
You can't do that, says Chris Filtovsky. You just can't do that. The sense of disappointment in his voice is absolutely mammoth. Just so you can see what we're talking about one more time while we get them around to the line, I just wanted to make sure of this. Yes, it was a bit of understeer, but was it enough understeer to cause that massive contact? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I know it's controversial. I just want to see it one more time. Cormac does have a huge slowdown there, and I'm not sure there would have been contact if he'd been on throttle, but I do get what you're saying. Let's carry on with this second half of the battle. It is Misho to lead in now. Misho Tsiskaridze, they are under starters' orders. Cormac Guard has been in the wars tonight. It's his fourth battle run, and he's only into the top 16 because we had so many one more times from the first battle. Misho, Misho Tsiskaridze.
That is actually Cormac's fault. Cormac's on the disadvantage.
As we come through, Misho goes for that big transition into that position on the outside line. Chris is now saying he agrees with my analysis from the first run. We might have to go back to that, but we're underway again here. That's a much nicer line coming into that position. Misho across the line. Let's watch that again.
No, I just went back and watched the replay. Misho's actually holding low angle the whole time. His speed doesn't change. It is, you're right.
Oh yeah, you can see where Cormac comes off throttle.
Yeah.
It then causes the close to happen. So now Cormac's at fault. Cormac is on disadvantage and can go return it. Misho gets the win.
There we go. I'm glad that we've got the replay cameras in because we would not have caught that previously, but that has made a huge difference tonight. That means that on his fourth battle just to get to the top 16, Cormac loses out. Misho goes through to the Great Eight. Misho Tsiskaridze makes it through from Cormac Guard, lifting right out in the middle of that run. And Ersa, thank you for the follow. Thank you for coming along. That means Ryan Sider will face yet another unknown as he watches his way through the battles this evening. Misho Tsiskaridze, who has just knocked out our regular winner Cormac Guard. Next up, Alexander Jaeger versus Daryl Diaz. Alexander Jaeger in the lead in that big Mustang. He's going to be taking on Daryl Diaz in the 13.5. Chris, hello, sorry, is Anders, you trying to say something?
Yes.
Yes.
Cormac really want to know why he lost.
Is he back off throttle? Oh, fuck it. Hang on. I'll just come join the channel.
Okay.
And tell him it's quicker.
Yeah. Cheers, mate.
I knew there was going to be an uproar.
I knew there was going to be an uproar on that one. That is always the way. Yes. It's one of the reasons why I'm so glad we got the replay, because that, to me, looked like Misho was on low angle. Yes, I totally agree, but I don't think he understeered and accelerated. I think he was on low angle, expecting to have to work hard to try and close up on Cormac, and that just looked like Cormac's speed just fell away. Anton Mirix Engstrom, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome along.
Yeah, the only other argument is the understeer classed as a 0?
He doesn't understeer when you actually watch it back. If you go on the YouTube, you just watch it back again. You don't understeer at all. All that happens is he's on low angle the whole time, and then the closing suddenly happens. In other words, Cormac backed off power.
Well, there we go, and that means that we are on to the next battle. Let's see how this turns out. It is Alexander Jaeger to lead in Daryl Diaz. Alexander Jaeger in that big Mustang. Daryl Diaz in that little 13.5 with the RB28 under the hood. Here we go. Daryl Diaz right up onto the door of Alexander Jaeger as they come through. Alexander Jaeger, a tiny little wobble right and high on the bank all the way through. Now into that transition. A good transition from Daryl Diaz, maintaining that proximity, and surges up onto the door of Alexander Jaeger, who's actually doing a really lovely lead line there. That is very chaseable from the lead as we see sparks flying and across the line.
Yep.
Well, that was a battle. That is the best battle we've had so far.
Yep.
And Chris is still muted about it because he hates Irwindale that much.
No,
I'm actually starting to go dark for us as well, Ben.
Oh, finally.
Yeah, it's sort of twilight now.
Nice run and across the line there. Let's see the second half of this battle as Daryl Diaz leads in Alexander Jaeger. They are under starters orders. My thumb has pressed the button this time. We are definitely going. This is it for a place in the Great 8. Let's get them underway. Daryl Diaz going for that flick initiation. Alexander Jaeger trying to stay with him. Surges up onto the rear quarter. That is very deep from the man in the Mustang. Nice high line in the chase position. This is going to be crucial. Daryl Diaz really punctuated his run through the transition. But, oh my word, look at that from Alexander Jaeger. Doing exactly the same, but he's put it in the wall. Alexander Jaeger, after all of that work, that beautiful chase position, manages to put it in the wall. What looked to me like it was an independent error. Let's have a look again.
It's the classic driving the longer car. You get really hyper focused on the door and you just forget that, oh yeah, my butt's longer than his.
Have a boot. Yes.
Yep. Unlucky Alex. That was looking real good until then, but yeah, that'll take it away.
Yeah.
Yep, me, he'd won that until he did that.
Yeah, it was the same for me, but that means that Daryl gets the win. That is going to be unanimous.
He would have had to maintain that proximity over the line. If he had done that, then yeah, he.
Well, yeah, there was only 50 yards to go, though.
Oh, yeah, but a lot can go wrong in 50 yards. As we saw just then, Alexander Jaeger taking himself out of action there. Up until then, one of the best battles of the night. So, Daryl Diaz advances. Who will he face up next? Gioventli Maurizia leads in. Craig Fulgham. This is a battle we have been looking forward to. These guys are both great drivers, both previous winners of the competitions here at Tsujigiri Drift Challenge. This is for the place in the Great 8 for Craig Fulgham to continue his march onwards to defend last week's win. Can Gioventli Maurizia stop him from making it further? Maurizia has been looking really good over the last few weeks. He's dialed in. He's started to get things grouped back together. Alexander Jaeger asking, why is the wall always so close? Because that's where it is.
Mustang got a booty.
It's got dad ass. And you've got to allow for it. So, Juventli Maurizia leading in Craig Fulgham. This is for the last place in our Great 8. Juventli Maurizia to lead. Craig Fulgham in the chase position in the Stefan Stefanov car, flaming on the line. Look at it lighting up the night sky as they get underway. Craig does not want to let Maurizia get away as they go firing in. Craig has let Maurizia get away. That is a bit of a gap opening up, but Craig makes that adjustment, slots down onto that front quarter of Juventli Maurizia as Juventli goes very high angle through there as Craig's shallow to try and keep that proximity, punctuating that run by slotting up onto the quarter of that big E92 as there's a small wobble from Maurizia as he comes through clip 3 and then over and across the line. Let's see that on the replay. Chris Ennis, your thoughts?
It was a good chase. I liked
Measured chase.
I liked Craig. I thought he was a bit shallow on the inner clip. Is it clip 2?
Yeah.
Coming off the bank.
But I did like the way he managed to avoid Maurizia as Maurizia threw on massive angle.
Massive angle. Really went for it through that transition. I've put them under starters orders. Let's see what happens in the second half of this battle. This one looks close. These are good drivers doing good driving, and I know that sentence was terrible. I apologised for it in my own head even as I got halfway through it. Craig flaming on the line there, off. Craig Fulgham in the lead position. Maurizia in the chase. Juventli Maurizia goes for that, firing into that rear quarter of Craig's car, but Craig is on that beautiful high line. That's incredibly easy to chase if you are that second car. Oh, Maurizia getting too far forwards onto that front quarter. This is now it as Craig goes sending it through onto the outside. Maurizia surging backwards and forwards, and that's a big wobble. Look how much more solid and locked in Craig Fulgham is in that lead position. Let's go back and see that again.
I mean, for me,
Craig takes the win. That's easy.
That's near enough
Maurizia just makes a
another
litany of
100-point
errors in the chase.
lead line again.
Yeah. That is the definition of the chase you want. Of the lead run that you want to see. If you're in there as a chase driver, that is a chaseable lead run. It doesn't get much easier than that.
Yeah.
It's in the same place every time. Craig is earning his machine title here. It's absolutely on it.
No. She'll have none of that.
As they come across the line, let's go back. It looks like we are ready to go forwards. Is that unanimous? The three of us all saying Craig Fulgham?
Yes.
That is unanimous. Craig Fulgham knocks out Juventli Maurizia in order to advance on to the next part of the evening. That is the Great 8, and it means that he will face Daryl Diaz in the Great 8, and we now have a full set of battles lined up there. This is what we're seeing. It looks like this. Press the button, Somerville. Don't just say the words. There we are. As we come through, it is Adam Lake versus Martinez Ostraka. Joshua William Hartshorn versus Octavian Shelarou. Ryan Sider versus Misho Tsiskaridze, and Daryl Diaz versus Craig Fulgham. That is how your Great 8 is shaped up. Let's get straight on with these battles. We are not going to delay. We want to crack straight on with the Great 8. I see there's a comment saying, these CSP settings look like toon shading. There is nothing I can do about that. My graphics card crapped out during the course of this week and I've borrowed a 1080 to try and make this work. So the fact that we've even got the stream this week is a bit of a miracle. We almost had to cancel the event. So I apologise that it looks toonish. I borrowed a 1080 and it's worse than my Vega 64. No, there's no about it. With the Vega, I was getting 130 frames easily in, even in VR, I was getting 120 frames, and in general settings, I can normally get 130. And when I've switched across to this 1080, it's not a TI, it's just a 1080, and I am now getting a maximum of 80 frames in VR and normally down at 60. It is just not performing as well as the Vega did. So, regardless of whatever anyone else thinks, on this game, in this situation, the Vega 64 outperformed the 1080 comfortably by miles.
Well, that is weird, because on every benchmark ever, the Vega 64 does not outperform a 1080.
Am I still on the AMD drivers? No, Alexander Jaeger, I am not on the AMD drivers. I am not some kind of gibbering chimp trying to deal with a computer for the first time. The 1080 just doesn't perform well in VR. OTM Professor saying, yeah, the 1080 struggles with VR. It just doesn't perform well, and it seems to struggle with the complex shadings on CSP as well. It just doesn't perform like it should do. Like I expected it to. I expected, like everyone else who's just gone, are you sure you're not being a fucktard? I expected the 1080 to outperform the Vega. I don't even care anymore. It's been too much, so we're there now. Let's carry on. But no, it just doesn't perform as well.
I mean, admittedly, I've got a 1080 Ti, but no, my 1080 Ti, like even on like event days with VDC and that, even with my settings maxed, I still hold like a good 200-300 FPS in this game.
I think the Ti definitely is the better graphics card, but for whatever reason, this is just not performing the way I'm expecting. So let's get straight into it. This is starting to get to the sharp end. This is the Great Eight. This is Adam Lake to lead in. Martinez Ostraka. We're looking at an all-Mustang battle.
Anything great about it?
Adam Lake firing in. Martinez Ostraka's right there, though. Look at him surging up onto that door, nicely nailing that line, but there was a little bit of a wobble in that middle of the inside line there on clip 1. Nice transition from Adam Lake, getting a little lick of flame from the underside of that Mustang as he fires out onto clip 3, but Martinez Ostraka is right there. Obviously, these cars incredibly evenly balanced as they get things hooked up and across the line. Let's see that in the replay.
Nicely matched cars. Battle.
Firing in, Adam Lake nice and high there, but you just see a little bit of a wobble from Martinez Ostraka in that chase position, dropping down a little bit coming through clip 1. Then as we come through into clip 2, it's a good transition, nice and steady from both guys, nothing dramatic, just getting the job done because this battle is won and lost on the big outside line wall runs. Coming slotted round and over the line. Let's get straight back into it, moving on. Martinez Ostraka now in the lead position, Adam Lake in the chase. I'm putting them under starters orders.
Certainly pressure on that on Martinez to actually put in a good lead.
And Awesome Sauce, thank you for the follow. Welcome along. Here we go. They are underway. Martinez Ostraka has got to find a perfect lead line because Adam Lakes was really on point there. Adam just has to stay with him. As I say, Adam Lake getting right up into Martinez Ostraka's business, trying to push his way into that door. That is not where you're meant to be, Adam, as you get into the wall and then take out Martinez Ostraka as we go through into that transition. That is the definition of how everything in the first run that was good has been undone immediately in the second. Let's have a look at that again. As we get another follow. Hales King, thank you for the follow. Here we go. This is where it all starts to unravel for Adam Lake. The transition here, gets into the wall, gets into the rear quarter, gets himself into the wall again and ends up putting himself, I believe, I couldn't see anything there that put the lead at fault. Adam Lake taking himself out of battle, meaning Chris Ennis as well, just to confirm.
Yes, we have a winner.
And who is it, please?
Martinez.
Martinez Ostraka for me as well. Chris Viltovsky.
Yeah.
Martinez Ostraka advances into the final 4. Who will he face next? Is it the man who keeps on injuring himself this evening, Joshua William Hartshorn, or is it going to be Octavian Shelaroo?
I wonder if you got the wrong shader on.
Problem was, it was a last minute thing yesterday just to even get a graphics card into this. I had to borrow it from the brother-in-law and try and get things running, and it's just fighting back. So the fact that we've got it running at all is a bonus, and maybe it'll be better for next week. Chances are I'm going to have to go and buy a 6700 XT from in town because at least that's in stock. Like, the one thing that can be said about New Zealand is they've actually got cards in stock. The 3070. What? They said I could get a 3070, but it would arrive on the 12th of August. And that doesn't really help me very much right now. No. So, we are back to the battles.
Been messing about for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
There's been no GPUs for ages.
We are back to the battles. This is Joshua William Hartshorn, the man who cannot stop injuring himself, going up against Octavian Shelaroo. Very different cars here.
One arm.
One arm, 1 foot, one one ball, one brain cell. Octavian absolutely sticking with.
On that bank, yeah, I would go with everything you just said.
Yeah, absolutely. Joshua just.
Octav then also did the comparable. Yeah, okay, this is
not a battle that we wanted to see. This is scrappy from both drivers. Let's get straight back to that replay cam. I want to see just how bad that understeer was from Joshua William Hartshorn in the first half of that battle. Let's look at it again.
It wasn't brilliant, but it wasn't. I'm going to go with 5-5 and just call that a wash, just because lead was bad on turn 1, chase was bad on turn 2.
Yeah, that was not.
I'm calling that one a wash.
Yeah, that's.
We'll just kind of ignore that and just pretend it didn't happen.
That's not what we want to see at all. Let's get back into it. We're seeing the second half of this battle. Octavian Chelarou is in the lead position now. Putting them under starters orders. Let's get them underway. Here we go. Octavian Chelarou. Oh, God, and there we are. That is Joshua William Hartshorn getting the jump off the start, trying to make sure that he's in position to stay with Octav. Octav slotting in onto that outside line. Is this... Oh, that's a big understeer moment. Goes straight for Josh in the chase position. Then through into the transition. He's trying desperately to stay with Octav as Octav slots out onto that outside line. Is he going to be able to hold it all the way around? Yes, he is. That's looking really controlled, but Josh has finally found his mojo and got back into the battle as Octav takes it across the line. Let's have a look at that. I think that can only go one way, chaps.
Octav for me.
Octav.
I can't see anything there that could overturn that. We will have... less of that, thank you. Yes, as we move round into that second half of the battle, that is definitely only going to go one way. And that is Octavian Chelarou getting through into the final four. So, Mustang versus GT86 is how that first half of the final four shapes up. Let's see what it's going to look like on the other side as we go straight over to another Mustang battle. This is Ryan Sider getting into it with Misho Tsiskaridze. Misho Tsiskaridze in the chase position. Ryan Sider in the lead.
Misho's in a PS13, mate.
I'm so sorry, Misho is in a PS13. Brain is tired. Let's get back across to this. Get things lit up. Ryan Sider to lead in Misho Tsiskaridze. Let's see how this goes.
So what CPU are you on?
5700 XT.
Nice. Wait, do you mean 5700X?
Sorry, 3600 XT.
Oh yeah, because they did do it. Yeah.
They did an upgraded version. So we are ready to go.
So the older version of the chip that I've got.
Yeah. I was going to upgrade to a 3900X when the prices came down, but then the prices never came down as Ryan jumps off the line. Look at the gap he's opened up to Misho, but Misho trying to get that back in. That's exactly the line he was on to try and make that position work with Cormac, but this time it's all gone wrong for him. Ryan Sider driving away from Misho as Misho unable to keep that independent speed gain under control as Ryan gets into the wall as well, 2 times coming through clip 3, but still manages to stay in drift. It's definitely not a tidy lead, but it's going to be enough to take the advantage through into the second half of that battle. That is not what we wanted to see from these guys.
Because of course
the 0 at the beginning of the run.
Yeah, because Misho had zeroed out, and at that point that was the run over. You know what it looks like? It almost looks like the extensions folder view isn't working on the track.
Yeah, I'm going to have to have a look for this, but Ryan manages to keep it in drift. That's the important bit. Slots round and along and across the line. Let's get straight back into this as we come across the line there. So, Misho Tsujigiricollective is in the lead position this time. Misho is ready to go on the line. Is he going to be able to make it round that first corner? Ryan Sider probably thinks that he is at a disadvantage here. He doesn't have a spotter. No one's going to be telling him to rein it in. Ryan has just got to not let his rage, anger and teenage angsty hormones that he shouldn't have in his 20s but seems to sometimes when he drives get in the way of a successful run. Come on, Ryan, just drive the car as Misho does a lovely fast lead line in that PS13 in that first corner, but then ends up way inside the track coming into clip 3. Now Ryan's starting to get back into the game. It was almost an inactive chase through that first corner from Ryan as we get across the line.
Ryan does enough. Ryan takes the win. In the sense of he doesn't incomplete.
Chris Ennis?
Yeah, exactly that.
Apparently, according to Virtual Finish Hornet, Ryan has said he just wants to go to sleep. Well, that's unfortunate for Ryan.
Aww,
Ryan would be able to go to sleep if he hadn't just won his battle. So, Ryan Sider takes the first slot in the final 4 on the right-hand side of the bracket. Ryan Sider advances through to the final 4. Who is he going to face on the night he just wants to go to sleep? Is it going to be Daryl Diaz or is it going to be Craig Fulgham? Daryl Diaz in the lead position first. I'm going to put them straight under our starters' orders.
The last battle?
I'm sorry?
This is the last battle of the Great Eight.
Last battle of the Great Eight.
Right, okay.
Craig Fulgham comes up to the line in that RPS 13 with the 2J, going up against the RPS 13.5 with the RB 28 in the lead position with Daryl Diaz off the line. Both cars very evenly matched on this run-in. We're looking at a close battle potentially as Daryl flicks it in, but Craig's right there with that lick of flame slotting up onto the outside. This is one of the best battles we've seen on this first section of the track so far. Nice positioning from both cars, a good lead, allowing for that great chase from Craig Fulgham as Daryl fills that outer zone and then has a little bit of contact with the wall there that causes that correction. Craig's able to take advantage of that and slot right in as Craig then washes wide and across the line after a little bit of a lag bump for him there. Let's have a look at that on the replay again. Chris Viltovsky, your thoughts?
Well, up until the point, basically, if Craig can put in as clean a lead as he's put up until now, there's not really a lot that Daryl can do to overturn the disadvantage, because he does have a bit of contact with the wall in the second outer zone. Craig loses about half a car to a car's worth of proximity through the first turn, but then catches it back up again just fine. He does wash a little wide off the last clip, but equally Daryl doesn't quite fill the last outer zone just before the line. So,
absolutely,
for me, it's a strong 7-3 to the chase there. And Daryl has kind of a mountain to climb now. He has to glue it to Craig's door the entire time.
Here we go. They are under starters' orders. Chris giving a lovely summary of what the judges are thinking on that particular section as Craig Fulgham gets off the line, and look how fast he is into turn 1. But Daryl Diaz surging up onto the door. That's a fantastic bit of chase driving to make up that amount of proximity that was lost on the run-in. Look at Daryl Diaz staying right there. Is he going to be able to bring the pressure onto Craig Fulgham? Is he going to be able to force an error by putting Craig under an immense amount of pressure? Look at Daryl Diaz surging up onto the door. That's some beautiful chase driving. Fantastic proximity and across the line. Silence from
Still
the
goes
Chris's.
to Craig because Daryl had to make such a large dive on the entry because he'd lost so much proximity.
Chris Ennis,
Rest
I
of the
can
chase
sense
was
that
great.
you're thinking
It
something
really
different.
was. The rest of the chase was great, it really was, but equally Craig again puts the same lead run in because put a foot wrong. So for me, it's because Daryl has to overcome that massive gap, and he does have to undercut the line a lot to do it, which obviously it was that or except just a big L at that point, but he literally has to make a dive from 3 cars back, undercuts the line, and then has to slot back up in.
But we know the 13.5 is a little bit slower on the run-in anyway.
See, being the 3 cars back and then making it up isn't the massive thing for me.
Yeah, because like you've said before, being aggressive in the chase position is the thing that you wanted to see, and it overturns a small mistake. And for me, being that far back at the initiation point is only a small mistake, and to have made it up by the end of the first third of the first outer zone is an immense bit of driving.
The only problem is Darryl hit the wall in his lead.
That's true.
And
so then, as I said,
yeah.
for me, it's all, for me, realistically, the only thing Darryl could do was have a good enough chase run to force her one more time. And as I said, sure, it's a very minor thing that he has to make a dive, but like he, as chase driver, you can jump at any time to make sure your car is rolling so that you can keep up in the straight line.
I think the fact that Craig didn't make a mistake in his lead is what has given Craig the win. I think the chase was perfectly acceptable,
but it wasn't enough to overturn a mistake in the lead. So lead versus lead, Craig wins. Chase versus chase is not a sufficient advantage to Darryl there.
It's a 5-5 chase versus chase. So yeah, that mistake in the lead, unfortunately, has cost him the win.
Then there we go. That is the result. Craig Fulgham knocks out Darryl Diaz just based on that little mistake that Darryl had going into the end of the run. Craig Fulgham advances through once again to the final four. Craig is loving life at the moment with this progress that he is making, and that means that our battles for the last part of the evening look like this. That is Martina Sostraka taking on Octavian Shelaroo and Ryan Sider taking on Craig Fulgham. That is what's coming up next. Martina Sostraka to lead in Octavian Shelaroo is first. That's what we're coming to right now. Let's get into it. This is the final for this evening. As these guys donut their way round, celebrating some lovely runs. Really excellent chase driving by Darryl, but that mistake in the lead position just costing him dearly as he comes into that second half of the battle. He was not able to overturn that, and that means that he sadly exits competition in the Great Eight. Craig advances. Here we go into the final four now, though. Martina Sostraka is leading first. Martina Sostraka to lead in Octav Shelaroo. This could be an interesting battle. It is the big old Mustang, which we know is very, very fast off the line, leading in the little GT86 2J. Similar powered cars, similar excellent driving over the course of the evening. They are already under starters orders. I've said to just go when ready. We want to crack on before the server resets. They are under starters orders now. Let's see what happens here as Octavian Shelaroo chases in Martina Sostraka. They're off the line. Martina Sostraka going firing down on that outside line. This initiation is going to be crucial. Is he going to get high enough to be able for it to be chaseable properly by Octav? As Octav surges up with a wobble there as he starts to rein in the proximity. You can see that his connection is not as stable as Martina's connection there. Martinez gets into the wall independently. That might be the defining moment of this battle. Let's see as we go into the second half. Coming round down and into the infield section, that is an independent error in the lead position for Martina Sostraka.
It's a question of is it incomplete?
Let's have a look at this. It certainly wasn't incomplete from the chase position as far as I could see. Is this just a massive knock to the lead? Oh yeah, it's definitely four wheels. He was straight and had to reinitiate.
Yeah, so it is 10-0.
That's a 10-0 advantage. As we go back to the start line, Octavian Shelaroo is now in the lead position. Octavian Shelaroo has a monumental advantage. He may or may not know it's that big an advantage as he goes into this. He hasn't got a spotter that we know of, so let's see how things play out. Octav off the line in the lead position. Martina Sostraka trying to keep up, trying to overturn that big disadvantage, that zero from the first run. As he surges up onto the door, is he going to be able to put enough pressure onto Octav as Octav has a big wobble? Was that enough to also go straight and have to reinitiate? We'll have to see that in the replay as he comes firing in. Back on the power, coming firing round clip two. Another little wobble, but Martina Sostraka now coming up onto that door, bringing the fight to Octavian Shelaroo and across the line. Let's see that on the replay.
Enough for an incomplete.
No, it's Octav, unfortunately, because his chase run was pretty shocking, really.
wish I could say one more time, but I can't.
No, absolutely. That is just all down to that error in the lead position. Once again, we see Irwindale making everybody its bitch as we come round and into the final part of the competition.
Ben, it was the one who used to complain at us for getting him demonetized.
Well, once it was done, it was done. We may as well just move on from there. So that means that Martinez Ostraka goes into the 3rd-4th playoff for the final place on the podium. Martinez Ostraka will be battling one more time this evening up against the loser of the other side of this tree. But Octavian Shelaroo makes his way through to the final for the first time with us here. Who will he be facing? This is a battle I'm genuinely really excited for, as Ryan Sider leads in Craig Fulgham. And on-form Ryan is a thing to behold. He is not on form this evening and yet has still managed to make it to the final 4, as Craig Fulgham spits flames. Both of these cars very, very fast on the run-in. Ryan Sider saying he just wants to go to bed. He's done with life. He's done with the universe. He's done with everything, but he's going to have to battle at least 2 more times this evening, and it could well be in the final, as that's a great lead run from Ryan round the outside line there, just getting that hooked in onto the second corner there. Now he's blatting through that outside line at 3, and it's just left Craig behind a little bit, but Craig surges up. Has Craig made a mistake? Craig Fulgham in that chase position, as he made a mistake finally for the first time this evening. Let's watch that on the replay again. Yeah.
Got a little bit wrong coming into just coming off of the off the back of the second outer zone.
I mean,
gets back together again by the time we get to the end of the run, but.
Ryan carrying so much speed into outer zone 3, and it just kept Craig napping. Craig was not expecting that car to move like that. Just gets up into Ryan's door coming towards the end of the run. Right, we are back to the start. It is Craig Fulgham to lead in Ryan Sider. This is for a place in the final. They are under starters' orders. We are ready to go. Anders Unger on the start line gets them underway. This is Craig Fulgham to lead in Ryan Sider. Craig with a slight disadvantage from that first run. Ryan with a great lead run. Is Ryan going to be able to capitalise on that? Craig is incredibly fast round here as the gap starts to open up. Ryan starting to reel him back in. Was that enough of an error to count the same as Craig's in the first run as Ryan sends it? Craig going huge angle trying to slot out to the wall. Ryan right there with him. A little bit of a wobble, but he's got it under control as he sent it too hard. He's had to back out of that door from Craig. He's bringing the pressure now and across the line. That is the first real battle that we've seen this evening that has looked that strong from both drivers.
Send it again.
Chris Viltovsky obviously deliberating very carefully over this one. Either that or he's finally fallen asleep.
It's. I can see the temptation to send it again, but if Ryan had only made an error on T1, sure, one more time. Problem is, he also makes an error coming off the back of the second outer zone, and the only error that Craig has in his chase is that one mistake where he gets too aggressive and then has to like readjust coming into the sort of the last inner clip zone, whereas Ryan has a mistake on the bank and then also a mistake in the same place that Craig had his mistake on run 1, and then lead to lead they're both really good jobs. Ryan was a little deeper at the start of the second outer zone, but not by much, and then from then on down it's the same lead, and then it is just chase to chase. Craig makes one minor error, Ryan makes 2.
I'm gonna ask the question. I'm gonna ask the question. Craig gets the win for Chris Viltovsky. Chris Ennis.
One more time.
I can see where you're coming from, but in the letter of the rules, I agree with Chris Viltovsky on this, and that means that 2-1. Craig Fulgham gets the win.
Even Chris contradicted himself.
How do you think?
Because he said Ryan had a better lead.
Ever so slightly. ever so slightly because
Right,
he was
but
slightly deeper at the start of the second outer, but barely. And then chase to chase.
I mean, I don't class Ryan being slightly further behind as an error.
No, it's not just that he was slightly further behind. He was right on his door, and then as he got within the first third, you can see he then makes an angle correction that drops him back, and then he has to pull it back up, and then into the outside zone at 3. Craig is not quite as deep as Ryan was in the first run, but Ryan gets into his door, backs out again, then gets into his door, then almost straightens, has to basically then throw a load of angle on. Coming into that infield section, it just wasn't anywhere near as clean. So that's why I agree with Chris on that one. You could say that it was a one more time, but for me, if it's either a one more time or you can see a winner, then you have to give it to the winner. If it's a clear one more time, it's a clear one more time. But if you're going, no, it could be one more time, or it could be Ryan, which is the position I was in, or it could be Craig, then if you have someone in mind that you think did better over the course of the battle, then they've won. And you can analyse those 2 points on it there. So that's where I'm coming at from it. I totally understand and respect what you're saying, Chris Ennis. I see why you came to that decision, but in this one, I agree with Chris Viltovsky, and that means that we have our finals and our playoff all sorted. We know what's happening here. We know exactly how it's going to look. And it looks like this on your bracket. This is the final 2 battles of the night. That is Ryan Sider to chase in Martinus Ostraker for the final place on the podium, and Octavian Shellaru to lead in Craig Fulgham in the final to find our winner this evening. That's what we've got coming up now. Martinus Ostraker is leading in first, Ryan Sider in the chase position, an all Mustang playoff here. Let's get underway. Right off the bat, this looks like an interesting battle. Ryan Sider chasing in Martinus Ostraker. Let's get it going. Martinus Ostraker in that lead position, getting the run in. Ryan Sider trying to get right there. He goes for that initiation, slots up onto the door. That's a much better chase position from Ryan than we saw against Craig. But even then, that slight wobble. But was that the lead taking the angle out to try and get away? Ryan right up into his rear as he goes for that first transition. And Ryan slots up onto that outside, back up onto that rear quarter. Lets a little bit of a getaway from that final section and across the line. Let's go to the replay. As Martinus Ostraker leads in Ryan in the replay.
Really, really good in the first sort of 2/3, and then he just has a little. He does really well to not cause contact coming through the transition as well, and he just has a bit of a.
I think personally,
he just dragged a little bit of left foot brake and backs off.
I think he just backed off a bit because he didn't trust what he was going to do.
Yeah, but the problem is you can't do that at the end of the day. You can't just back off because you don't trust what he's going to do. He's not been particularly inconsistent there.
No, not there.
As I said, Ryan did really well to not cause contact through the transition because, yeah, you can see Martinas's left foot braking where he absolutely shouldn't be, but there's not an excuse for then grabbing a load of left foot brake and causing separation.
Yeah, it was a little bit too much. If anything, though, it was probably even across the run.
As I said, for me, it's a strong 6-4 to Ryan, but, you know.
Here we go. They are underway again. This is Ryan's chance to get his place on the podium as he goes for the send. Martinus Ostraker is right there with him. That same little wobble that we've seen from both of those guys in the middle of the corner, but Martinus Ostraker is really bringing the pressure through that first corner. But through that transition, Ryan opens up a bit of a gap, gets on the throttle. Martinus Ostraker is very in field, but manages to hold that proximity. Look at Martinus Ostraker right onto Ryan Sider's door there and across the line. Let's have a look at that. That was one hell of a chase run. Chris and Chris. The silence is deafening.
One more time.
Yeah.
Because obviously Martinas has a much more present and much more aggressive chase from start to finish. but that is because Ryan did what he was supposed to do in the lead, whereas Martin Ass's lead, coming off the bank especially, was sketch.
Whoa. Ryan's just reversed through your cones, Christopher.
I mean, they're not even my cones.
No,
this is not an Ennis special. Sorry, a Viltovsky special. Right, I'm going to ask the question: do we have a winner? Yes or no? Chris Ennis.
No.
Chris Viltovsky.
I'd like to see it again. I'm not convinced. Not wholly.
One more time, it is. They're going again. We're going to rerun the fun. We've got the playoff going one more time. We are sending them again. Rerun the fun. Let's do that one from the top. It is Mustang versus Mustang. Ryan Sider versus Octavian Chelarue. Sorry, no, versus Martinez Ostraker. I do apologise to Octavian Chelarue. I just demoted him to the playoff. But Martinez Ostraker versus Ryan Sider. This one is going again, and it is Martinez Ostraker to lead again. First of all here. They're coming round to the line, getting those tyres nice and hot. We're going to put them straight under starters' orders. We want to just get straight underway. Martinez Ostraker, Ryan Sider, Mustang versus Mustang. These two looking strong all night. Let's see what happens. Is Ryan going to be able to put the fight back up onto the door of that other Mustang in the shape of Martinez Ostraker, who's on a much better lead line than he was last time round turn one. Ryan Sider managing to keep with him. This is the transition that caused him to check up last time. Martinez Ostraker goes for that transition, doesn't get on the brake like Ryan does, must be using that handbrake to slow down, but Ryan's right there. Look at the pressure that Ryan's bringing this time. He wanted to go to bed, but now he wants to bring the fight to Martinez Ostraker as they go across the line. And let's see that on the replay as they come back round to the start.
Go with a weak 7-3 to Ryan just because of the little error he has just at the last flip. Up to that point though, really good chase drive.
Aggressive, right up to that inside manoeuvring, just there.
Where just coming into that inside, he just makes a bit of an error, but holds it together and keeps it going over the line. So, as I say, weak 7-3.
Okay, let's go back to the start. This time it is Ryan Sider to lead in. They are ready to go. Is this the final time we will see a Mustang in battle this evening? Are we going to have to go another time on top of this? Ryan flashing his lights. He's ready to go. They are off the line. Martinez Ostraker has got to bring the fight to Ryan Sider as they go for that initiation. Martinez Ostraker, look at that beautiful mirroring in the chase position and that snap to angle. Absolutely mirrored Ryan's moves. Here we are through the transition. Is Martinez Ostraker going to be able to put the pressure on in the same way Ryan did here? Ryan's on a mint lead line, but oh, Ryan stuffed it in the wall. Ryan has thrown it away himself on that last section. Let's just go back to the replay camera and make doubly sure of that. I want to make sure there was no contact. Let's see what happened there. Or has Ryan finally succumbed to the pressure and his own tiredness at the end of the night?
Yes.
Beautiful high lead line from Ryan all the way through turn one.
You can just see it. Like it was super brave on turn 2, but you can see how deep he was at the beginning, and it's just like if he holds it out, yes.
Yeah, if he'd held it, it would have been a thing of true beauty. But I think, gentlemen, it is safe to say that we have a winner. I'm not going to announce it now, but we do have a winner from that battle. Is it anything that's going to surprise me?
We can announce that. Let's be honest. Everybody knows.
No, Chris, have some magic in your life. Just a little still.
Everybody knows. Everybody knows.
That Bodger likes mashed potatoes?
Oh, man, there's a throwback.
There we are. And it was Badger that liked mashed potatoes anyway. But we have a winner.
Wow.
We are going to advance on to the final. Let's get this underway. It is time for the last battle of the night. We have a winner from the 3rd-4th playoff. It is now time. Octavian Chelarue versus Craig Fulgham. Octavian Chelarue has been driving beautifully in that GT86 2J all night, but Craig Fulgham has been almost metronomic with his lead runs. His chases have been really good, but his leads have been something to savour. Is Octavian Chelarue going to have the pace and the skill and the precision to put down the same kind of lead line? He is leading first. Craig Fulgham to chase first. Octavian Chelarue to lead. We are ready to go. They are under starters' orders. This is the final. This is what it's all been building to. This is what we wanted to see. Craig Fulgham with a chance to get 2 wins in a row. Last week and this week, he's in the final. Is he going to be stopped at the last hurdle by Octavian Chelarue? They are under starters' orders. Let's find out as we get underway with this final. They are off the line. This is it. Octavian Chelarue leading in Craig Fulgham. Craig Fulgham managing to stay with him. Goes for that initiation. Is Craig going to be able to steep with him as Octavian Chelarue gets the power down, but he's not as high as we would expect from Octavian Chelarue in that first corner. Now coming through to the transition, is Craig going to make the dive up the inside? It's an early transition. He beat the transition from Octavian Chelarue, and it slots him up onto that inside. A huge amount of left foot braking for Craig Fulgham to maintain that proximity as they come in through 4 and across the line at 5. That is the battle we've wanted to see. That was looking really nice this evening. Let's get them under that replay as they come round to the start. Beautiful lead line at the end of the first corner, but Octav definitely struggling to get all the way up to the top of the bank in turn 1, and Craig able to capitalise on that all the way through that corner. Down onto the infield section though, Octav pulling away a little bit from Craig just at the end as they come round and across the line. This is the final battle of the night. Craig Fulgham needs to pull out all the stops. It's got to be one of his perfect lead lines, and Octavian Chelarue has got to find the proximity with Craig. They are under starters' orders and they are away already. This is it, the last battle of the night. Craig Fulgham leading in Octavian Chelarue. Craig goes for the flick initiation. He's nice and high on the bank, and Octav starts to reel him in. Craig much higher than Octav was at that same position round turn 1. Slotted out onto the outside. This is the transition that's going to be crucial. Craig was able to reel it back in onto Octav through here. Has Craig overshot it? No, he hasn't. Look at that, perfectly onto the outside as Octav struggles to maintain that proximity, wavering around all over the place as Craig brings it round and across the line. Gentlemen, do we have a winner?
Just watching that back, just to watch the transition as Craig comes through into turn 2. I'm pretty sure that, yeah, I played that. Yeah, no, he actually puts it off fine. Well, I think he did.
It looks to me like he did. Do we have a winner? Do you want to message me your winners, please?
I mean, really?
I'm messaging Anders to get all 4 of those guys across and to the finish line so that we can announce the winner this evening. We definitely have a winner. I don't think it's going to be any surprise to anyone who saw how that final battle turned out. Let's see, the gentlemen I am working with here this evening, they have already sent across their answers. I will just double check while I'm manoeuvring things into position on the stream. We have a winner, and I can tell you right now that it is unanimous. So, before we go any further, Chris Ennis, Chris Viltovsky, thank you very much for your assistance this evening. It's been a real pleasure having you here. I hope you guys have not had too much of a terrible time. Anders Unger, thank you very much for your assistance on the start line. We could not have done this without you. Thanks to all of you guys at home. We hope you've enjoyed watching the stream this evening as we have brought you this night fight from Irwindale. This is the announcement of our winners. We had 4 guys make it through to the last 2 battles. Out of those 4, who were Ryan Sider, Martinus Ostraka, Craig Fulgham and Octavian Chelarue, 3 men have made it to the podium. In 3rd place, the winner of the face-off battle, sadly not the man doing a donut round the back there, is Martinus Ostraka. Gets 3rd place this week, defeating Ryan Sider, or rather Ryan Sider defeating himself in that battle. But it means that we now have the final 2 drivers it probably won't come as any great surprise as I say that tonight's winner is... Craig Fulgham gets the win. Craig Fulgham defends his win from last week. Well done to him. Well done to Octavian as well. I'm going to move out of this chat so that I can continue to talk rubbish whilst these guys chill out. Thank you very much again, gentlemen. I'm just going to move away for now. That was a fantastic night's battle, but that means that Craig Fulgham gets the win. Octavian Shelarou comes in second. Well done to him competing this week. And Martinus Ostraka bringing up third place. That is fantastic driving from all of the guys involved here. Once again, thank you to all of you who have been watching at home. It's been a pleasure having you here. We hope you've enjoyed the action. Thank you to all of our drivers for taking part. Well done to our podium. That is a great result. And to Ryan as well, making it to the final four when he was clearly fatigued. Thank you to Chris, and Anders for all of your assistance. That is greatly appreciated. Thank you to you guys for watching. Thank you to our sponsors, Eclipse Motorsport, Retro Speed Shop, Enamed, and Graham's Performance. We could not have produced our actual cars without those guys. Thank you to them as well. And with that, we leave you this evening. We will see you next week for more of the Tsujigiri Global Drift Challenge. See you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend. Good night.